I am
Yeah,
now.
that's all
I
right.
am. I've started another recording. There we go. We are in Suburbia. Now, this is actually one of
Alright.
the maps I remember. I could swear was like recently added whenever I was last playing.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and at the time, this map was crazy because it was set in the U.S. instead of England. So it was like, holy shit, a killing floor map in America.
So I'm guessing this is one of the few that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They're all either in England or hell. And if Pink were here, he would say those are the same. But Pink's not here.
It's a shame. This is one that I like to play with him. I mean, I always like him to join in any of our games, but this one seems like one that everyone can play.
Oh yeah. New mag.
I was gonna say before I got booted in the last match there, I was gonna say that there's a person who goes. I think his name is Darksider. I think. It's a guy that appears to be from. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter where he's from, but I don't really know him. He's kind of like this mysterious, enigmatic guy who has made. He's made some mods that allow various games, a handful of games, maybe five, I think. I don't know, a small handful of games, might be more than that, where you can. He's made mods where you can add the DLSS setting. Are you familiar with that? What DLSS is?
No.
Okay, I don't know actually what it refers to. I don't know what the acronym is, but it is a setting that is very highly sought by modders, for example, because it's a setting that tremendously increases your frame per second count. It does something about it's an upscaler. I guess what it does. I don't want to really speculate what it does because I'm just going to wind up coming out wrong. But I know it's an upscaler that makes it to where when you add it to a game that it's going to work with, you can dramatically increase your frames per second. For example, I have one in Cyberpunk, and that makes it to where my frames per second go from like, I don't know, I think like 80 by standard, like 80 at the standard settings, and then when I run the DLSS settings, I go to like 140.
Yeah.
It's like a massive jump, significant jump. And I was looking for one for Grand Theft Auto 5, which I've just installed yesterday for the first time in years. I don't know, it's been a long time. And I just thought, I've been feeling Grand Theft Auto. Why not?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I installed it, and it's running really well. It's looking beautiful. Everything's cool. But then I found out that there was this DLSS, and the copy that I have was supposed to have installed it along with it's obviously it's a borrowed copy. We'll say that borrowed
Yeah.
from the internet and shared with everybody else who also borrowed it. And I mean, I own the game. It's fine. I literally own a copy of the game. I don't care. But the copy that I installed was supposed to have the DLSS setting in it, and it does, but I can't activate it. It's there, but I can't install it. Like I can actually plug it into my game and have the option come up in my game, and I'm supposed to be able to turn it on. Like, yes, turn on. It's active. Turn it on. But I can't. It's there, and I can't turn it on. It's just like, okay, you have this installed. Too bad. So I looked it up, tried to figure out what the problem was, and apparently the person who makes this available, which was not the person who plugged it into the copy that I have, this person apparently insists, I guess demands, whatever, that if you want this DLSS program, you have to go to his Patreon, you have to pay him for it. And
Oh.
yeah, not only do you have to pay for it, I think the way you pay for it is you have to like be a subscriber to him. You have to give him like, I guess you could probably cancel at any time, but like the base rate is like $5 a month. The thing is, this thing also, this program feature, I don't know what to call it, this mod, uh, since it has to authenticate with the guy's Patreon account, I didn't know that was a thing until today. I guess you have to authenticate the mod with the Patreon site. I think that if you stop paying for the Patreon membership,
You'll
I
stop getting the
believe
mod.
yeah, I could be wrong, but that's the impression I get. Yeah. So two
That's
things.
that's
Yeah, actually,
hysterical.
yes. See, that's where I was gonna go. I had two things I wanted
That
to say. One, hang on, because I absolutely want to hear your thoughts on this. The first thing I just want to say really quick is that I went to another site where I know some other people that borrow games, and they found a way around it. And they're basically like, "Fuck this guy. He's famous for charging for anything he does. He also supports DRM." And he's been building DRM into his mods, into his programs or whatever, to where you can't. I mean, I get it. He's a creator. He wants to make sure people don't steal his shit. But he's like super like, no, charge me. Charge me if you want it. He creates this thing. He won't share it with anybody else. He won't tell anybody else how it works, and then he charges for it. Which again, capitalism, whatever, whatever, blah 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 blah. But point number one is that these people found a way around it, and they're like, yeah, again, fuck this guy, go have fun, everybody, which I have, and it works. And I'm not gonna lie, it's great. My frames per second in Grand Theft Auto with everything turned up went from about 70 frames per second to about 130. So fuck yeah, good deal. Point number two, you take the floor. I want to hear your thoughts on this entire thing.
Well, what I question is, like, you know me, I'm generally a pro-capitalism guy, but the thing I question with something like that is, like, there's something to be said for a difference between, like, a creativity thing of, like, I'm the only one who can do this. Somehow I get the feeling, like, maybe if DLSS is a super difficult thing to program, it may be. I don't know. I've only really... DLSS is a setting I've seen in games before, but I've never really thought much about it until right now. So I don't know how it works. Maybe it's like fucking rocket science and brain surgery mixed together, but even more complex. But if it isn't that, then it calls into question, like, are you the only one who can do this? Can you justify charging it if many other people are going to do it for free?
Right.
Are the only people you're going to be able to get money out of the people that just don't know that somebody else will do it for free?
That raises a really good point. That kind of calls the morality, or maybe not morality, the ethical angle of the whole thing. My understanding is that DLSS is a relatively new thing. Go ahead, you go first. I can tell that you were going to say something.
Well, on the ethics side, like, that's... Oh, God. I wouldn't even say ethics, I would say just intelligence.
Coming from the angle of why would you charge if you know that somebody else can do it for free? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. I guess that's why he doesn't want to share it, which again, I mean, that's like, I guess it's almost in a way like somebody who makes a song. It's like, okay, I came up with the lyrics, I wrote them, I performed them, whatever, but you can't copyright a song to the extent that somebody else can't take those same lyrics and put them to similar music. You can't. I
get the feeling he doesn't have the copyright on DLSS, whoever this guy is, because
right.
I've seen it in a bunch of games. I am willing to bet that if anyone has the copyright on DLSS, it's not this man. And if there is a copyright on DLSS, I'm willing to bet this man does not have the rights for it, in which case he would legally be committing theft.
It's difficult to say because my understanding is, like, this is what I know, is that DLSS is something that a lot of games now come with. It's a relatively modern thing. I don't know how long it's existed, but I think it's like a this generation, maybe last generation type of thing that's kind of sort of like the path tracing or the ray tracing, I guess. It's sort of like really become like a popular thing, and understandably so, because it like doubles or triples the FPS, which is again significant. I know that obviously game developers are doing it. It's in like Spider-Man, it's in again like Cyberpunk, stuff like that. But games like Grand Theft Auto 5, which are now a decade old, obviously weren't they didn't have that technology because it didn't exist then, at least not in the form it does now. So it's like, okay, so if somebody takes whatever components, like they start from wherever it is they're starting from, they have their base intelligence program tools, whatever. If they craft this program and they make DLSS work, and they have, like, I guess you could potentially patent the exact process you went through, I suppose, like the code you wrote, etc. But even then, if you can, like, again, it's not unique to you. That guy did not create the concept of DLSS. He did not, he might have came up with the code to make it work, but he doesn't own the code to, for example, Grand Theft Auto. He doesn't own the code to, as you said, like the DLS program. He wrote the code to make it work with Grand Theft Auto, but I don't think that, like, he just started from scratch one day and said, you know what, I want to make this thing happen. I'm going to take this game that doesn't have DLSS, and I'm just going to start from scratch, turn my computer on today, and just invent it. He's working with something. He's working with some kind of code that's already existed before he started his project. So, yeah, like, where then does he get the right to then charge people and say that, hey, just if you want this, you have to pay me? I mean, I don't know. Like, I see somebody like Ted would be like, well, if he made it, you should just have to pay for it. And if you don't, well, too bad. You don't get to use it. But I think that oversimplifies things. I don't know.
Well, I would like... See, the thing is that from the economic... Like I said, I'm pro-capitalism. I know it's not very popular nowadays, and it's going to get me killed one day. But at the end of the day, and I know that every time I say this, Addy, the thought passes through Addy's head of like, why am I friends with this fucker? But nonetheless, nonetheless, like, I actually do agree with Ted on that way, but what Ted is not mentioning, because Ted always has a point to things that he's trying to hit beyond the immediate argument. Ted would not be talking about the practicalities of this issue for you specifically, Mike. Ted is like imagining, okay, what if a socialist is watching this right now? I need to make a point that socialism is stupid.
Okay.
And he'll go off on that big tangent and he'll ignore which is what is actually one of the vital points of capitalism, which is capitalism. People who believe that capitalism works generally believe that capitalism is supposed to be a system where it's put up or shut up. And in this case, one can assume, unless the LSS, like I said, is like an incredibly advanced thing that like only a select few geniuses have figured out, DLSS, presumably there are many, many, many people who can put up. And when there are that many people who can put up, you know, it like, how can you charge for a service that others will offer for free? Is this guy the only guy who's got it figured out for GTA 5, or is he just the most famous one?
That's actually a good question. Apparently, my understanding is that he's made this DLSS available for several games. I think
is it just plug into any game?
No, not. Well, we as the user cannot. They're separate programs that have to be tailored to that specific game. Whether he can simply like plug and play and just make a couple of alterations to make them work with each game he wants them to, that I don't know. But like the user end, no, we can't just take the one that works for Grand Theft Auto and plug it into Skyrim, for example.
Okay, because I was wondering, because for the longest time on PC gaming, there was, what was it? That program you had to use to make games that didn't work with a controller, right?
Oh, XPadder, if that's the one. That's what I used anyway.
Yeah, XPadder. And nowadays, Steam kind of just offers that for free in Steam input. Yeah, you know?
Yes, exactly. That's a good example, yes, because you did normally have to pay for XPadder.
At which point, like, I'm sure there's people who still pay for XPadder and use it for a couple of programs, probably largely for pirated games. But, like, beyond that, the majority of people who would have used XPadder 10 years ago on legally purchased games would have no reason to use it anymore.
I wouldn't think so.
Because now it's just for free. Why would you pay for something you can get for free?
And that also gets into the no, go on, I'm sorry.
I'm actually reminded of Gabe Newell at one point, the CEO of Valve, one point explicitly saying in an interview, like, they asked him about the whole DRM thing and how big that was getting and getting to be an argument in PC gaming in general, and they mentioned that Valve's own games don't really have much DRM. And Gabe just simply said, yeah, I believe that the way to beat piracy isn't to put in DRMs, it's just to make a service that's so convenient that people would rather buy than deal with pirating.
You know, the first thing I want to say to that is that Ted specifically, I gave him that same scenario, though not quite so specifically related to Gabe, for example. I told him that I can't remember the game in question, but there was a game that I played by developers who said the same thing. They said, well, you know, we feel that piracy is kind of like a no-win situation. It takes a lot of money to fight it, and when we do take these exhaustive, over-encompassing methods to prevent it, that winds up screwing a lot of people who wouldn't have pirated the game. It makes it more inconvenient for just like regular customers who would buy the game. So we're not going to do that. We're going to hope that just the people who want to play our game will be good enough to buy it. We hope that we will put out a product that's good enough to, you know, for people to buy instead of pirate, because you just can't stop that from happening. When I told Ted that, he was basically, fuck that, that's wrong. And he was like flatly like, no, that's bullshit. No, that's just letting the thieves win. You can't do that. No, yeah, and I'm not even going to say that he's necessarily wrong. He's got his opinion, and that's fine. But he was very sternly against that. He thought it was an awful, almost like immoral, whatever. Oh, we have a new friend here. Money. I like it.
Let me just turn off voice chat. I could swear
you hear us?
Oh boy, whatever that's going on there.
That's funny. That's funny.
I got to this mother. I don't know what this motherfucker's gonna be saying. Oh man, I can't. Can I please? Okay, I've turned it off. There we go. Thank God.
So far, all you said was something friendly.
Yeah, but who knows if if midway through he's just going to start reading off Mein Kampf, right?
Oh God. That'd be pretty bad. You know, I'd have to admire the bold, like just aggressive distaste of that, but I don't want to hear it.
Well, also, like, if he just did it, like, apropos of nothing, it calls into question, does he
Right.
do that in every game?
Yeah, and even if not, why does he just have it handy while he is playing one?
Oh, he's got it memorized, page 1 to page
Oh,
100.
that's bad. I do
Word for
enjoy the fact that
word. Like, it's impressive when people pull that off with the Bible, you know?
yeah, right. It's that person's Bible, though.
Oh boy.
I
It's
like the
happening.
idea that we've created this entire horrific backstory for this guy, who might be like the friendliest person in the world.
Yeah. Well, I should
I
know.
mean,
I didn't want to interrupt you because you're talking about Ted or whatever. I was
Yeah.
throwing money at you because
That's what I thought.
I didn't even know he was there. I was throwing money at you because I just had too much money and I like this gun I've got right now. I've got full armor. And he ran into the middle and just looked directly at me as he was catching the money I was throwing to you. Like, stared me right in the eyes. Well,
I guess he must have thought that it was a gift. I guess, because he did say money, money, money.
yeah, there's every chance in the world we are not playing with a human. We were playing with some kind of strange goblin of some kind.
Yeah, I've got like a goblin-like voice. But yeah, yeah. Go ahead and give your response to Ted. What was on your mind there?
Well, it gets called into question of like, if we shot every customer that walked into the store, that would be a guarantee we would be killing 100% of potential burglars.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good way of looking at it. Wow,
That is a guarantee.
that's true. The odds are there. Yeah, I don't
I
know,
think that
Ted.
then leads into Ted's just saying like, okay, you agree with me. We need nuclear inferno. Bring it on.
Yeah, that you're right. I can see that. I can see the conversation taking that flow. I mean, like I got where he was coming from. Basically, you should
And
not
I
give.
I love Ted, but Ted goes straight for reading people's intentions and reading people's sincerity instead of
Oh
arguing what
God,
he
yeah.
and the issue there was he wasn't arguing your argument, he was arguing against your sincerity. Because I know
Mine
Ted
specifically? You think so? I mean, I am an admitted pirate, so maybe.
that's always going to be the thing is that it's Ted has an argument he wants to have even if it's not the argument that's actually happening. So
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
that's always been the issue I've had with Ted. And this video, he might watch this video. Ted, I love you like a brother. You know that. I have said this to you before. You have a tendency to go for the arguments that you want instead of the argument that's actually going on, which we're all a little bit guilty of, but it just sticks out when you do it because all the time. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not nearly so much. Though honestly, I'm gonna be honest right now. I argue with Ted a lot less now because I just like by now I tend to agree with Ted on most things, or otherwise it's just like whatever. Ted and I disagree with this. I know he's not going to have anything to say other than what I like is stupid, so I'm not gonna talk about it.
You've learned the strategy of either if you agree with them, then everything's cool, and if you disagree with them, you just have to just keep it to yourself and not bother because you're not going to get anywhere. It's a waste of time.
Yeah. Either it's like me and him agree and we both like this thing. Okay, let's discuss what's cool about this thing. Or I say, I really like this thing, and Ted goes, "No, it's stupid," and I just don't reply with anything. I don't post about that game again for like a week. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I know the feeling there. I absolutely know the feeling. My two of
And
the
like in
I'd
fairness,
say,
he has said before, like what? Am I just supposed to not talk? And like that, I don't have a counter argument to. I don't have a counter argument to that. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to expect you to censor yourself for my sake. But at the same time, like, he's usually the only guy that will respond because everybody else just reads your post and moves on. So it's like, well, I guess I just don't talk about that in this community.
Yeah, yeah. Everything you said is entirely fair, and I agree with it. I was gonna say
Like,
the two.
that is particularly worth noting that for every post that Ted responds to, we also have to keep in mind that, like, Gramps and Steve and whoever else glided right over the post, and they just went, I don't care about this bullshit, I'm not responding.
Yeah, either don't care, or to be fair, possibly just don't even have enough knowledge of the subject to want to bother.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and you can tell when people are trying to talk, and so they want a conversation to happen, but they just don't know, so they're just like, well, I don't know anything about that, but I like this thing that's similar.
that's
Human
happened a lot. Yeah,
conversation is amazing.
it really is. Yeah, the ebbs and flows. I was gonna say the two of probably let's say 5 times maybe that I feel like Ted and I really really clashed. I mean, there were some times where it was just like, I can't fucking stand you anymore. And to be fair, he has never said that to me. To his credit, as angry as I've been with him sometimes, he has never gotten, at least shown that level of anger to me. And I respect that. Having said that, there were times where I just thought that he was just so full of shit that I just couldn't help but say, like, dude, you are so full of shit. And one of the times that happened was when we were talking about Skyrim. He said basically, actually, no, the worst, let me start with the worst. The worst example I've ever felt from almost anybody, let alone Ted, was when the guy's trying to cut you up, by the way. I think that's hilarious. You're
Oh,
giving each other money
dude,
or
he was
something and cutting
hockey
each other.
goaling around you for like an hour.
That's funny. Yeah, the absolute worst example I can think of for Ted or anybody was when he told me that you might remember my friend Howard, who said that when Brock Lesnar
Oh,
beat
yes,
Undertaker
I remember
3.
this.
Yeah, my friend had been on the forum. I had told him for like a month. I'm like, it's a bunch of really cool people. They're wrestling fans. They're wrestling game fans. It's a great place, real strong community. And my friend was there for like a fucking week. And he said, yeah, he was really happy that Brock beat, Undertaker because he thought it was funny. Because whatever, he likes Brock, he likes Taker. He didn't really care what happened. He just thought the fan reaction was hilarious. He thought that people took it way too seriously. And Ted, as well as a couple others, to be fair, somebody gave him like a ban. I think it was Raven gave him a ban
Oh,
warning.
yeah, that sounds like Raven.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
Raven. I love Raven, but Raven did not need admin powers. That was a bad choice.
I remember when
he wound up having those taken away because he had some kind of fucking bad tirade over G-Men sometime, and it's just like, dude, you're a fucking admin. Like, you need to hold back on this stuff.
Right.
Now, granted, I've said many
dude.
mean things about Rocky, but I'm just waiting until Addy revokes my powers in that case.
I definitely want to get to this because this is another interesting direction we can take. The thing with Howard was that I remember, Raven and Ted in particular, a couple of those guys were vocal about the fact that they said that Howard came in and he was just trying to troll. He was just trying to upset people. And this was on the night it happened. I understand emotions were high. They were like, clearly he just came in to piss people off. I'm like, no, he didn't, because not only A, have I known this guy for 30 years, B, I'm talking to him now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation with him in a real life. I know this is not what he was doing. Here's what he meant. And literally Ted was like, no, that's bullshit. And I'm like, dude, I know him. Like, and I can prove it right now. He's telling me that it wasn't meant to be, and he wouldn't accept it. He was like, no, he wouldn't. No, that's just bullshit. He just, and then he ran off about how Brock Lesnar's full of shit and he hates Brock Lesnar and everything else. And it was like, wow.
Back to the argument Ted wants to have.
Yeah, it's a good example.
Like, it's a little bit of like the conversation's going on while the thought bubble appears over Ted's head. Brock Lesnar is stupid.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. For better or worse.
I can't wait till Ted reacts to this in a week.
Oh, he'll just like scoff at it and say it was bullshit. I will never say anything behind somebody's back that I'm not willing to say to them. Ted knows how I felt about this because it was bullshit. It was absolute bullshit. I understand if whatever all it is whatever. He was wrong. He was just wrong. It's fine. Whatever, life goes on. But yeah, he just said something that just was not accurate. My friend then, he quit the forum. He told me, I think it was after the ban warning. He was just like, dude, I didn't even do anything wrong. Even if I had been trolling, I didn't say anything horrific. I didn't say anyone was a jerk. I didn't insult anybody. I didn't continue the conversation trying to make people upset. Actually, eventually he did. That's not true. He told me that eventually he did. Like when people really started to badger him, he started pushing back. And he said at that point, then people got even more mad at him. So he said, dude, I don't want to be on that forum. Thanks, but no thanks. Fuck it. I'm not feeling it. And that, I accept that, I respect it, but it's like, I was just sad, though, because he could have made some good friends, because he's my age, he has very, very similar sentiments as myself, taste, yeah, I've known the guy for, at this point, I've known him for almost 40 years, he's a lifelong friend, and it's like, I know that his heart was in the right place. He was just having some fun, thinking that it was hilarious that so many people, not even our forum, just the internet, was losing their shit and saying how horrible it was. And he was just like, no, it's fine, whatever. Brock and Taker, they'll be fine. I thought it was kind of neat, and I'm laughing at how crazy everyone's being about it, and that's all he meant. But yeah,
Yeah.
Ted was just he insisted that no, he knows my friend better than I do.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what was in my friend's head better than my friend did. It's like, oh, come the fuck on, man. And then the other thing, obviously, was the Skyrim thing. That's there have been more
That
serious
one
fights
was
about that, but
years.
yeah, it was
And
essentially
that's and
yeah. Go on, you go ahead.
virtually every time it boiled down to just how stupid it was of like, okay, but even at the end of the day, the people advocating for Skyrim will pretty well all of them admit, yeah, but Morrowind is like way better.
Yeah, I mean that's not even just it. Morrowind is much better. The people who started with the earlier Elder Scrolls games seem to generally like the newer ones less and less with each entry. Like that's not even just me, though it is also me. I've been hearing that from other Elder Scrolls fans who were even with it before I was. You know,
Yeah.
they were like, "Well, Daggerfall was amazing." Then Elder Scrolls kind of reeled back, and it was cool, but it was kind of like a real step back. And then on and on and on with subsequent games. I, for
I
example,
will
am really
say
kind of
it
scared
goes back to Daggerfall. I have never seen anyone say, "Man, Arena was great."
right, exactly.
If there's ever
Yeah.
talk about Arena from people who played Arena back in the day, it's always, "Man, Arena fucking stunk."
Yeah, yeah, that's completely correct. My understanding is that Daggerfall was what really kind of put that series on the map with PC players. Morrowind was kind of what put it on the map with kind of like a niche amount of console players because it was only on the Xbox. And
Yeah.
then Oblivion was what really kicked the door open, and then Skyrim was the massive commercial success.
Yeah.
So it was kind of incrementally up and up and up. Although the critical reception, from what I can tell, at least with like whatever, maybe not review sites, but players in general, the audience at large, seem to have gotten a little bit worse with each entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, with Skyrim, the big argument basically was well, the first I still have a copy of the post actually because I went on the Wayback Machine to look at something, and I found his old original post on a page talking about how he had just gotten Skyrim from his wife as a Christmas present, and it's rare to look back and see that he was happy. He was like, "Yeah, it's cool. She got me Skyrim," and it's like, "Wow, if only you knew what was to come." He
And the
not long.
initial, well,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's such a thing for our group in general, not just Ted. That if it wasn't, if everyone reacted to Skyrim with like, it's meh, then Ted's reaction would have continued to be, it's meh. But it's the fact that there were so many people over the world that were like, oh my god, this changes everything. This game's amazing. That
That
suddenly
is true.
that made Ted go for, instead of it's meh, to I fucking hate this. This ruined gaming, right?
Yes. Yeah, I not only are you right, but I think it's interesting that you bring that up because where I was going to go was just that. In his earliest comment about the game, I was able to look back at it in like 2000, like fucking like 18 or something like that. His
What?
old comment from 2010 into 2011 or 11 into 12 was, "Well, I didn't wind up liking the game, but you know, whatever, it's cool. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse."
Yeah,
That's how it originally was, and
yeah,
I would have been fine with that.
and like
But yeah, yeah. Go ahead. You go ahead.
virtually everyone in our group is no matter what somewhat like this, where we can't stand a thing we think is like okay, getting overpraised or getting shit on, and we'll like go to its favor even if it's just kind of even if we acknowledge it's kind of bad because we think people shit on it too much, or conversely, we could think it's okay, but everybody acts like it's great, so let's shit on it. And like this is something that everyone in our group does. Like that's why Pink has most of his bits. Is like because he's sick of like you can ask Pink this yourself. Pink shits on Braun Breaker all the time because he will admit Braun Breaker's actually pretty good. He just got sick of Ted and Gog praising him all the time. So he's dug in on the bit of Braun Breaker's the worst wrestler since the Ultimate fucking Warrior.
We tend to get hyperbolic.
Yeah, we get hyperbolic, and it upsets us when the vast swath of the community incorrectly estimates a game's quality. And I must say, like, that is something that has always, like, I've always confused me in this community, because I've always just had the attitude of, like, the broad swath, people as a group are always going to get things wrong, because people as a group just always are prone to hype. But then I must admit, there's one series where I know that I would not hate the game series as much, if people didn't constantly shower it with praise.
Mm-hmm.
Which is Witcher. And I look at
Oh,
that
there
one,
you go, yeah.
and that's the one where it's like simultaneously like, okay, I kind of get you guys, how you guys can be like this about everything else in the world. On the other hand, it kind of makes me go like, maybe I shouldn't be as harsh on The Witcher. It makes me feel like I'm one of these crazy people I hang out with.
I mean, everyone does it. As the thing is, as long as you're not doing it in complete ignorance. Although, as you said, we've all been guilty of that at some point or another.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been times where I have just hyperbolically said, oh yeah, that movie's great, yeah, because it's got this guy who's never been in anything good, and yeah, whatever, whatever it may be. In Ted's case, it was odd because he had played the game, and he was describing a mechanic in a way that he was very, I mean, this is how I saw it at least, intentionally misrepresenting it. I mean, you might remember that
Oh, the
in
crafting
Skyrim,
daggers, yes.
yes. In Skyrim, it's famous. It turned into a meme, one of many, because you could craft daggers in large supply relatively quickly using not a whole lot of materials to really hurry up and raise your smithing stat. And the
It's
higher
a
you raise your smithing stat, the higher you get to raising your character's level altogether and increasing their strength, etc., etc.
it's a
And yeah,
mimetic over-exaggeration of what I think is realistically a very solid criticism. Like, I'm personally not fond of that mechanic. But yes, like that is simultaneously that's simultaneously an issue of, like, I think I've mentioned this before, that I think that a large part of that is Ted's history with tabletop games, where you need to be more conscious of stopping the other players from doing that when you're like the game master. But I think that's also, like, he's mentioned having a banker friend who deliberately takes pride in playing games like that. And I believe he, like, you remember Ted, there was the religion split. There was the religious argument split, and Ted
that
went
was
over
the big one. Yeah, that was a
yes.
problem.
And Ted, there was the, like, several different forums, offshoots were made. And I remember I was a member on all of them because I was one of the ones caught in the middle. I was like, I don't know, I don't want to split. I like all of you. But
yeah, that's why it was so rough for a lot of people.
yeah, and I remember on the Christian forum, Ted directly said, I have a banker friend. I play D&D with him sometimes. And he will tell me about how he plays Skyrim, and what he does is... Anyways, this banker friend will just tell him, like, oh yeah, I rolled a new Skyrim character, and after I spent the first couple hours smithing all the daggers so I get my levels up for all the perks I wanted, I then started the game, hit this and that I wanted to hit. And it was then as soon as Ted had said that, I went, oh, well, that explains so much. that is who he probably hears about Skyrim the most from.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
All right, I've got this trick. Just spend the first 7 hours smithing daggers, and you can get this perk right off the jump. And now you can you can go to Bleak Falls Barrow.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's interesting.
And I mean, I gotta admit, there are some games that I kind of exploit a little bit, and I do some stupid bullshit, and I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to start the game. Nothing that insane or mundane, though.
Well, therein lies the problem, because when Ted was first using that I don't even know how that got brought up. I think it literally was just, I think somebody, it probably was me actually, was saying they liked Skyrim for one reason or another. This was like 2012, so the game was still relatively new. And my memory is that Ted basically said, well, the game sucks, and here's one of the reasons why. It's stupid, it's too easy, there's nothing role-playing about it. All you have to do to gain levels or whatever is to do the smithing thing with the
I will say, smithing aside, the rest of those are pretty accurate criticisms.
Well, I mean, I could definitely talk about Skyrim Pro and Con for a while, so we can get into that. But for the moment, at least, the Ted thing was that he made it sound, and he seemed to argue as if he really honestly believed this, and maybe he did. He sure seemed to.
That
I don't know.
Everyone does. What?
Well, no, not even that everyone does it, but that you like that's the
because
only
it's the
way,
most optimal way.
Yeah.
That you are obligated to play the most optimal way.
Yeah, he said that he did not like the fact that in order to level up in this game, you had to do stuff like just over and over and over and over, repeat an action. He said that was grinding. That was the big issue. Is he said the game is loaded with grinding because you repeat the same action over and over to level up. My counter argument was you can do that. You don't have to do that. Normally, one does not play Skyrim by just grinding out one skill over and over and over in succession to artificially gain levels. You can do that, but you don't have to.
The most optimal way to play poker is wearing a gimp mask, so.
That's absolute truth. Yeah, he basically...
Like, you wear a gimp mask or a lucha mask, and, like, they can't see your facial expression.
Can't see your tells.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I hate whenever I see poker games and I don't watch them. It's not something I would watch whenever I happen to be passing
Sometimes
by
it's
a
on the
TV where
sports
somebody was.
channel.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was gonna say sometimes I'd be walking past the TV and they'd be playing poker, and I thought it's so cheap to me that it's a cheat. The argument is, well, there's nothing stopping you. It's not against the rules. It's like, well, no, it's not. But I mean, really, it speaks
Well,
for itself.
when
Poker is
they're wearing
partially
this,
about reading an expression.
when everybody's wearing the sunglasses, it is no longer a game of being able to read the other players. It is now a game of mere probability. And
Yeah,
like
yeah, you're taking away a lot of
it
the.
becomes a game to be played by statisticians.
You're not wrong.
No,
That's
that's
exactly
how
what's
you.
going on.
That is the pro level of poker. If everybody's got good poker faces, the way to play poker at that point is knowing the statistics and knowing what the most common hands are,
Right. Because
and
obviously
being
you
able to
can't go
make
on
a
anything else.
reasonable guess based off of the likely hands and what you've got.
Right.
I
That's
don't know.
that's
I don't know what the winning hands are, but I know
I
that's
don't
how
either.
you win at poker.
I mean, again, see, that goes back to, and I'm assuming that's why you brought it up. This goes back to Skyrim, where it's like you can play that way, but you're taking away a lot of what makes the game good. You're taking away a lot of the features that were meant to be enjoyed organically. You're not really supposed to. They would discourage the idea of you just doing one thing over and over just to artificially inflate your skills. But
I
yet again, Ted was just insisting that no, as long as you can do it, they clearly want some people to do it, and that makes the game lame and cheap and not an RPG.
So I will
Now you
say,
go ahead.
from the game designer's perspective, if you read like books on game design or what have you, he is correct. The game does not discourage you from doing that in any way except that it's incredibly boring. But at no
Yes.
point do you craft 8,000 daggers and the game is like, well, you now have crafting fatigue. Go fucking do something else for a little bit, you fucking dweeb. With that complete tooltip in the top left appearing, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It would just pop up. It might even be an achievement, I think.
Yeah,
You fucking go do something else with your life. Play the game properly. You're an idiot.
like that. Like, he is correct in that regard, and like the more exciting ways of grinding in that game, like, I'm gonna go beat these bunch of guys. I'm just gonna use this sword over and over again to grind up my one-handed. He's correct that in that case it's totally accurate. The daggers thing is a weird one to stick onto though, because it's like, of course it's deliberately absurd, and you and him are both fond of using hyperbolics in argument to demonstrate how bad a point is. But like, past that, it's like, okay, but no one outside of people who are mentally ill or people who are just obsessed with safety are going to play that way because it is so mind-numbingly fucking boring. And I'm gonna be honest, I did try to do that once just because it was always such a sticking point and I wanted to see what the high-level blacksmithing gear did without cheating. And I was just like, it's so hard to get enough iron.
Yeah. It takes hours and hours and hours, which obviously, again, you're not meant to level up that way. You're meant to just
That shit's
naturally play,
expensive.
and this is it is as it should be. I mean, the whole point of the game is that they meant for this to be a good thing. They want you to play how you want to play. If you want to be a wizard and focus on spells, go do it. We're not going to say that you have to learn swordsmanship as well. If you want to be a thief and you want to sneak or whatever, and you don't want to use magic, go to it. We're not going to punish you for not using magic. Just play how you want to play, and by naturally doing the things that your character does, you will, over the time that you play, gain experience in those actions. And naturally there are going to be people who exploit that, and that there's the dagger meme. Hey, yeah, you can raise your smithing really high really fast, and by raising your smithing you will subsequently raise your overall stats by doing so. Well, hell, I'm just going to sit here and spend the whole day making fucking daggers. And you
Well,
know
you can still like beat quests, get XP, a lot the XP into the stat points, which honestly, I'll say as soon as I found out about the the enemies leveling with you, I would suddenly start to get like anxiety anytime I leveled up a stat that wasn't one I intended to use, right? When you
sure,
accidentally
yeah.
level up speech and you're like, "Oh fuck, well, I've just made the enemies harder without enhancing my capability to fight them at all.
Yeah.
Thanks."
Yeah, that's actually one of the big arguments against the. There's two things to address. First of all, flat out, I completely agree. I do not like level scaling in any
I
game. Period.
despise
I
it.
actually quit. I despise it as well. I quit playing the South Park game, Stick of Truth. I don't know about the other one. Stick of Truth, I literally just quit playing it once I learned that the enemies scale with you. I thought, well, then what's the point of actually trying to get good?
Yeah.
What's the point of fighting out every fight that I can and trying to level up my character when it's literally just going to do nothing? It's going to make the
Yeah.
characters level up with me. Fuck it. And it's not even saying that the game is bad. It felt like a really good game. That just pulled me out of it. That feature was not something that was fun to me. So I agree with that. Morrowind is not like that. Morrowind is if you go down the wrong road
Oh,
the
yeah.
wrong time, you're going to get fucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll learn not to go down that area until you're stronger. Skyrim, Oblivion, no. If you level up by just doing daggers, then everything will level up with you, and then you get the situation exactly like you're saying, point number 2, which is that there's a problem inherent with leveling up a character with skills that are not necessary for survival, and then gaining a bunch of levels to make the enemy stronger, thus beating you because you don't have the proper skills to fight back. You
Yeah.
gain level 50 of speechcraft and dagger, creating, then, well, sooner or later you're going to have, like, level 100 enemies who can kick your ass with magic that you can't defend against, because all you
Yeah.
do is speech.
Yeah, and that game
Yeah,
has, like,
that was the
no
problem.
speech checks that actually help you. Like, speech
I don't
speech is
think it does,
really
does
just
it?
the prices mechanic in that game.
Yeah, it really is. That was always bad. In Oblivion, it was also bad. Some would say it was worse in Oblivion, but at least, well, for better or worse, Oblivion had, like, a speech mini game.
Yeah,
which,
like,
take it or leave it.
well, Morrowind, of course, was the one that,
Oh wait, I'm sorry, just really quick. The
he
guy
said
asked
drop
for
money,
drop.
please.
Yeah, that's up to you if you want to bother. But yeah,
I
go ahead.
will, if he gets to the trader at least.
Well, how do you do that? Because I always have money that I can drop. How is it? Is a certain button you press? Or is it a
Yeah,
menu?
yeah. Well, on the keyboard I could tell you, but I don't know what controller button it is on the controller. Try the D-pad.
That's yeah. Try the D-pad. Let's see. That's WASD. Okay, I just ejected myself. He said thanks.
Eh.
Uh,
Well, now you know how to heal yourself.
yeah, I'll forget it when it comes up. uh. Okay, there we go. I'm not gonna make a habit of talking. I just want to send out that message, which I'm assuming you guys
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't even remember how we got to talking about Ted, but to wrap up my memory of how that all went was basically, to his credit, though, I guess the initial point was that, yeah, initially he was just being just like a real stubborn dick, basically saying, no, this is how the game works, this is how it was meant to be, and it's stupid, it's crap, this is a garbage game, you really should have better taste, this is a really stupid game, and it's kind of making you dumber to play it, whatever, like that kind of fucking typical shit.
Yeah.
Again, my argument was you're choosing to play it the wrong way. You're choosing to exploit a system that was not meant to be exploited. His counter argument was, as long as it's there, then they fucked up. That shouldn't have exploitable mechanics. It's a grind. It's a grind, and that makes it not a fun game. It sucks. And now to an extent, with without being in the moment and being angry and everything, he at least does make the point that he doesn't like that Skyrim is so popular with that mechanic because it's making other games follow suit. I definitely understand that. If you're
Yeah.
playing a game and you don't like what it does and then the game gets popular and then other people start aping that game, that's going to make less games for you to want to play because they're all going to be doing the shit that you don't like.
Yeah.
I do get that. Yeah, in his defense, I definitely agree
And
with that.
explicitly one of his favorite fucking series, Dragon Age, suddenly decided to become a
Baldur's
Skyrim ripoff
Gate,
at
Dragon
the end.
Age. Yeah, that's
And
what he
Baldur's
said.
Gate actually stuck to its guns wonderfully with Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, that's good, because I know that people really like that series as well.
Oh, yeah. I think him and Soon both had orgasms playing that game.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I have always heard that it's a good series. So, fair enough. More power to it. More power to them for enjoying it. Ted did eventually calm down and basically say that, well, I really didn't like the game. I stand by what I said about it. But, whatever. I get that it's fine for people who like it. It just wasn't my kind of thing. I just wish that, again, like you said, he wished that it wasn't so dominant and making these gimmicks so popular, I guess, in other RPGs, which I can't speak for, but that's what he said happened, and I would believe it. The other thing, really quick, to his defense was, you're right, I do remember him specifically saying that he was really kind of been out of shape as well, because he knows friends who fuck up tabletop games using similar, mechanics, like you said. I could definitely see that as being frustrating.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Now, what I'm trying to figure out is, how do we even get talking about Ted in the first place? You know what? I actually remember we were talking about the capitalism.
Capitalism, yes.
Yeah, with the modder guy. Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off if you had more points on that.
Oh boy, if I did, I lost it a long time ago.
Yeah, where I fall on that is it's very very difficult to separate my bias because I've gotten so many cool things for free. I've gotten so many good games and everything like that for free. You know that at least as far as movie stuff that I can afford, for example, DVDs, if I like them, like literally right now with an eyesight, I see 14 DVDs right in front of me that I got on my Kenosha trip. I didn't have to buy a fucking one of them because I've got all of them on free digital copies that I got off the internet. I bought them because, like, Ten Commandments over here. Ironically, I pirated that one, but I eventually bought it. It's sitting right here. The Ten Commandments, 1956. It's got a really nice box. It's like a really nice special edition of the Ten Commandments. Did I have to buy that? No. Do I already have any of the special features on it? Yes. But I like the way it looks on my shelf. I want to have a nice boxed copy of the Ten Commandments. And now I do. So stuff like
Yeah,
that. I like to support, if I see something cool that I like and I've got the money, I will support it even though I don't need to.
yeah,
I've got hundreds of DVDs that I literally just threw money away to get. I did not need to buy them. I have them already. But I do it because I feel good saying, hey, I like to own the physical copy and it pays back the people who made it cool for me. Um, when I can pay for games and stuff like that, if they're really good and I feel like I've gotten my enjoyment, sure, I'll give them money. Dead by Daylight, good example. I didn't have to put hundreds of dollars into that game, but I have.
yeah.
It's whatever it is, what it is. The thing is, even if I try and take that, maybe I should hold up for a second here because we don't know where the guy is. Oh,
Oh,
now that was
rocket
you.
flew right past my head.
Ah, okay.
I saw it fly in front of my face.
There he is.
Ow.
Damn it! I hate when my grenades miss because he's a fucker. Did we get him already?
No.
That was just I guess someone got a headshot then. Blow up, fucker. Well, he didn't blow up, but here's another grenade for you.
Merry Christmas.
Damn it, he moves too fast.
I should note that the Commando class not only gets to see invisible people,
Whoa.
he also gets to see health meters, so he's at low health.
That's very cool that you have that ability.
Oh, yeah.
That was spectacular. Look at him
Hump the
fly.
ground. Oh, chunks. Nope.
Chunks. Now you get to piss money. Yeah, taking away my bias, which is admittedly existent, of the whole piracy thing, I do like the fact that much of the piracy crowd, not all of them for certain, but, or rather, certainly not all of them, I should say, but a large majority of the piracy crowd enjoys the sense of community and sharing. Like, usually if a pirate gets a copy of something, they want to give it out. They want to be like, hey, now you enjoy it. Now you have it. Let's share. Let's increase this idea of everyone being a part of sharing and giving and blah 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 blah. Like for example, when you're on a torrent site, a BitTorrent site, you get something by leeching it. You download it in pieces. When you have the completed copy, you then give it back. You seed it for other leeches to get. And
Yeah.
people always encourage you. Whenever you download something, usually it'll come with a file or something that says, "Please seed." Like, don't just take it and run. Stay and give back to other people.
Yeah.
Granted, you're all thieves. I mean, let's not be let's not be false about this. However, there's a real sense of like honor among thieves. Like they
Yeah.
don't just go and steal shit and just be selfish. Help the scene, help the My point being, the people, many people who develop programs and stuff like that are of the same mentality. They're like, we want to share. I have something cool that I made. I can benefit from it, but now you can too. I want you guys to have this. I want you guys to be able to enjoy, for example, higher frames per second in Grand Theft Auto. I don't want to be paid for it. That's not the point. I want everyone to enjoy their games just like I'm enjoying it. And so for someone to come along and gatekeep what they've done, granted, they have every right to do it. But nonetheless, for someone to gatekeep and say, yeah, I made this really cool thing, and, I'm just going to not share it unless you pay me, it's kind of a dick move.
Yep.
That's...
It's definitely not nice.
It's ultimately it's selfish, but I mean, again, it's kind of hard because the argument is, well, if you want it for free, is that not also selfish? And it is. I can't lie and say it's not. It's just not what the community is usually all about. For example, another example, the Skyrim Nexus. the Nexus in general, but in particular the Skyrim Nexus, it was up in arms in roughly 2016 or 17 when modders started to. Actually, it wasn't even modders. It was Bethesda who
Yeah.
produces Skyrim. They came in and said, "Well, hey, we're gonna put together a program to where." The high whatever the most viewed, the most downloaded, whatever modders, we can start paying them for it. We'll pay them for their mods, and they can charge you guys for their mods. Like, in other words, yeah, they'll make really awesome mods, and we'll pay them, and then you can give them some money to help encourage them to make more mods. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. The community went fucking insane. They were like, no, these are mods. These are by modders. We're all about sharing and creating things for each other, creating for the community, enriching the game at large for everybody. We're not about the money. And they fought back to the point to where Bethesda pulled back. They're like, well, yeah, we hear you. We're not going to do that then. Because they were pissed off. They said, no, quit coming into our hobby here of crafting mods for your game, which you said we could do. You provided the tools for us to do it. Let us do it and keep your fucking money out of it. That's the mentality of a lot of people like myself who, we see
You were at
people
really
like this
low
guy
health.
who made this. I know, yeah, I forgot to actually ask for help. I totally forgot. I didn't even go to the fucking, I wasn't even thinking I didn't go to the trader. We're nowhere near him.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, this, usually if they're, wait, I just gotta remember how to do the health thing. Oh, I found I found the throw money button. I'm looking for my health and I found the throw. Yeah, that's great.
That is just perfect.
It really is. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right. I
That's
think if
twice I've accidentally blown up clown dolls, apparently.
Clown dolls? I haven't noticed clown dolls.
I haven't either. But apparently I blew two up.
Oh. Did you just heal me?
I did.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Yeah. Yay, money!
Money! Money!
Ooh.
I watched that guy walk up behind you, then you casually turn around, boom, his head turns into chunks.
That's the way to play it.
Yep.
Ah, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Not to...
The mentality I always have, and inevitably get told, fuck you for, is like, how differently would you feel if this didn't exist to begin with, right?
Explain. How do you mean?
In terms of, like, being mad that this is on offer, but they're asking you to pay for it. And I always say, like, well, you're not bound to pay for it. And so along similar lines, they're like, well, then they say, like, well, okay, I can choose not to pay for it, but I still don't fucking get it, then, if I don't pay for it. And outside piracy, of course. And I always say, like, well, what if it never existed to begin with?
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. In a way that actually reminds me of, I don't want to say the argument, I guess the discussion that we had way back. You might have had other discussions with these guys, but I remember in like the first or second, probably about the second of the Shut Your Mouth podcast. It was way back in 2015 when you were on there. I was on there.
Yeah.
And also Addy and Joey, Mr. Edge fan. And at some point, the discussion turned into the ethics of DLC that comes out after the game. Should the game get DLC? I'm sorry, not even DLC, actually. It was patches. So that was actually a whole different thing. But yeah, we were talking about DLC. Should designers have the ability to make DLC that comes out after the game exists? Should they not, like, make sure the game's complete right off the bat and then not have to use DLC in the future, etc.? I'm assuming you probably remember that whole thing, so you go.
Yes. I remember that I was using the same argument quite some time ago in that regard. And, I just watched a ragdoll go flying. I remember, yeah, and we were also arguing about patching. Whether patching. Yes. We were arguing, like, the argument was one side, I don't even remember who was on what side, was DLC and patching have made video games worse because now developers will release unfinished games and go, fuck it, we'll complete it later and we'll charge you for it.
Right.
And I remember the argument, this definitely crossed over into the forum itself several times.
Oh yeah, it has.
And the argument I always made, and I think Ted similarly, well, Ted sometimes wouldn't be as nice as me to, like, try and make logical arguments. He'd just go, fuck you, you want free shit. But, like, the argument I always make was, like, it's an inherent assumption you're making that they're just releasing the game unfinished like this, and that a similar proportion of games did not release unfinished back in the day. And further, like, I think that one of the arguments I've always just made is buyer beware of, you need to be aware going in, is this game good enough without the DLC? And if the game is not good enough for you without DLC, do you consider the DLC to be a reasonable bargain in the situation? Or do you think that it's asking too much, where it's just like, the game by itself is barely a skeleton? Oh no,
Yeah. Go ahead.
my connection to the server is apparently quite poor. Your character's just standing.
Yeah, I'm glitching out a bit too.
Okay, well, I
Like,
killed the screamer that kept beating on you.
I couldn't
Oh.
see. I couldn't. I don't even see
Yep.
you.
Yep, you got kicked from the server.
Yeah, I'm still running around in my game. I don't see you, so I guess I'll just. Yeah, I'm assuming I'm definitely the one who's gotten kicked because I don't see the path to the trader. I just see the arrow. It still says one enemy left.
Oh, yeah, I dealt with them a while ago.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Just go ahead and keep playing. I can. It's not a problem.
In this case, you can just forfeit the game, disconnect from the game, and then reconnect.
Can I just jump right back into the same map that you're playing on?
Yeah.
Oh, I can. Oh, okay, I'll do that then.
Yeah, we've had several guys join mid-game.
So, disconnect or forfeit? I remember Addy went through this. Where's the forfeit button?
Since we're in a multiplayer game, it should say disconnect, I think.
Oh, it's just disconnect. Okay. Yep, out I went. Oddly enough, I'm still getting the music from that map. Oh well, we'll see what happens. I'll either get in or I won't.
Soft as shot. Mike the Rat Guy entered the game.
Oh, well, that was super easy. Wow, conveniently easy.
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm back in, apparently. Lost my shotguns and so forth, but whatever, I'll get them back.
I have grenade.
You have grenade, not even plural. You have grenade.
Good enough.
I'm getting some pickups here, so I'll be okay for armor and so forth, I'm sure, or weapons and so forth. Yeah, the counter argument that I remember Ted made, it held weight, but it was a little bit, I don't know, debatable. No pun intended. He said basically, yeah, older games would come complete. Sure, you didn't have to have them updated with DLC and so forth, but according to him, they weren't good. They were shitty games that if they had problems, you'd never get them fixed. They release in crummy states, and you just had to deal with it because there was no deal. Or I'm sorry, not no patches to make them better. You just have to suffer the fact that they were shittier games.
Which I generally agreed with. I think that there's definitely, of course, plenty of very good games that came out for the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo and the PS2 and yada yada. There's countless classics, but those games also have countless games that aren't remembered because they're bad.
Yes. Yeah.
When we talk about the legendary NES games, we're talking Metroid, Mario, Zelda. We aren't talking Action 52.
That's true.
Shippicle.
Oh, Shippicle. Gotcha. For a second, for some reason, I wasn't sure what you said, but yeah, I definitely got it. I'm a little bit in between, I think. That argument does hold weight, because basically, yes, sometimes you'd get a game and just it had problems. I think Ted... Probably not in bad faith, but I think Ted over-exaggerated how often games were glitchy back in the day. I think a lot of that is subjective. I often had really good games that even if they were like not really like fun, they still worked, they still functioned, they were apparently complete, blah blah blah. But yeah, you'd still run across some that were not, and that could have used more development time or more feedback or whatever. So I do agree with that. I do agree that the patching, the modern days of the patching, the DLC and so forth, that does allow for the possibility of games to be fixed when they need it. My stance was always that I just wish that we have a new player, by the way. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I gave her a bunch of money so she wouldn't be too far behind.
Cool. Yeah, Milk 2465. Yeah, go ahead, what's up?
I just watched her go up and kill what was apparently a clown doll and exploded into guts.
Oh yeah, it said on my screen, kill 42 clown decoys. I didn't know what... Oh, is this objective mode? I've heard about there's an objective mode. Okay.
This is one of the maps that's available in objective mode, but... yeah, I don't know what objective mode's deal is. I tried to play it once. I didn't entirely understand it. My understanding is that when you complete the objective mode maps, you get you get new characters to play.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't even know what she's killing. It says she's killing clown decoys. I don't think I've seen one yet. Or if I have, I haven't been. Oh yeah, there's one. I see it now. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the counter argument I hold is that I feel that, and this is maybe just suspicion, I don't know, but I'm sure it can be validated if you look it up, various research. I feel that too often developers will use the ability of patching games as an excuse to release a game in a buggy state, just feeling that, they'll fix it later. They'll get the game out, they'll pump it up, and if enough people complain, maybe
I
they'll fix it. But otherwise, now let's just get it out and deal with the
I
repercussions. And yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't say that by any means. I wouldn't like cast some moral aspersions, some ethical aspersions upon the developers and say lazy devs, but I would say that there's a good chance that that does lead to more of the attitude amongst publishers of we need to get this out for this investor quarter. We know the game has a lot of bugs, but we need to be able to put this on the report for the investors. Put it
I
out
guess
now. You can fix it later. Right now, we need this to sell so we can put that on the investor quarterly.
I suppose for me it's a matter of I think both issues exist. I think I like to think that generally speaking, companies, game developers, etc.,
I,
do operate under the mentality that yeah, let's do a good game, let's get it
I,
right, and oh shit, we fucked up, let's fix it. But it's hard to quantify. I do feel that
I,
there are probably more. I'm sorry, I'm almost done. I do feel that there are probably situations that we don't even know about where a developer just said, let's just get it out there and hope that no one notices this.
there's definitely situations of just simply we don't have the time or the budget.
Oh, that happens for sure. Yeah, that also happens. Cyberpunk, perfect example. That game
As
started
well,
out looking like shit, and now it's great.
as Wooly once said, talking about his days in QA, some bugs you send back and they're like, okay, we'll get this. Some bugs you send back and the answer is WNF, will not fix.
Yeah.
And like there are some bugs that have stuck with games for fucking decades, and every time it comes up of like, what's can you guys fix this bug? The answer is still more or less like, dude, if we could, if
Right.
we could, do you think you'd have been looking at that bug for the last 10 years?
Well, but then
I,
okay, now how about this though? For
you know,
example, the WWE series. So that's
the
been
way
complained about. Well, then that yeah, go ahead. You finish first. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, this was just a point I wanted to hit earlier, and my dumbass
Yeah.
forgot to hit it and hit something else. I just try to avoid in arguments and matters like this. I try to avoid doubting sincerity, right?
That's funny because that's where you and I differ. Not that you're wrong or that I'm necessarily right, but so cynical. It's hard for me not to assume that somebody's just not being up and up.
Yeah, to me, it's just like doubting sincerity is an easy way out of arguments, right? It's just
It is.
like I could if I really did someday get mad at Ted, I could just say like, yeah, but none of your points don't matter because you're just too biased, you son of a bitch.
Well, I mean that's what he did with my friend Howard. He
Yes,
said no,
exactly, and
he
that's
doesn't
what's
really
stupid
get it.
about it. That's what's
Yeah.
fucking stupid about it.
Well, in my case, it was especially rough because I had like verifiable, quantifiable proof that it wasn't actually happening the way
Well,
he made it
that it
sound.
was just a battle of sincerity versus sincerity, which isn't an argument.
Right.
That's just a personal. That just comes down to personally, like, are you both going just fuck you, no fuck you, right?
That's kind of what it came down to.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. I've been reading politics books lately, and one of the things I've been reading in the book is the like guy like saying like, that you shouldn't argue sincerity, right? But nonetheless, what was I going to say? Like to me, like it can definitely turn to doubts of sincerity, but like if there's a logical explanation where people are making what is to them a logical and reasonable and healthy choice first, I don't know. I always jump to that first personally instead of like there could be a logical explanation for why they did this, but I'll instead make the assumption they're just bad people, right?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it really comes down to Occam's razor. Are these
Yeah,
people, probably telling the truth, or are they actually like conspiratorially, lying to work some kind of scheme, ulterior motives?
yeah.
It's probably going to be the former. in most cases, I think it's fair to assume that they're probably good-hearted, even if they might be minimizing something that's negative, they're at least probably working from a place of
Yeah,
honesty, good-heartedness.
yeah.
I think that's probably generally the case. It's just
Even when
difficult for
people
me
do
when they
bad things, they tend to then come up with honorable, moral explanations for why they did a bad thing.
yeah, that often is the case. I definitely think more so than not. I guess there are just situations like, and this is more like along the
I'm
DLC
jerking
route, which
off at
we can
work
also.
because my boss is a bad person, so he deserves for me to jerk off at work.
Yeah, it's a different one. That's a new one.
Well, I meant
This
metaphorically jerking off when I first started saying jerking off, but only once the words exited my mouth, I was like, this could probably also work for literally jerking off
Yeah,
at
I actually
work.
took it literally the whole way through. I don't know
Yeah,
if I should have or not, but yeah, I did. I'm like, well, that's an example of somebody probably not, coming up with good intentions that are valid. My boss
yeah,
is a jerk, so I'm going to jerk off at work. Hey,
yeah.
wait, wow. That's a Dr. Seuss rhyme right there.
Oh,
My boss is a jerk, so I jerked off at work. I like that. I'm going with that. Say that 5 times.
boss gets a
Um,
dollar, I get a dime. That's why I poop on company time.
that's great. Did
You've
you
never
just
heard
make
that
that
one
up?
before?
No, I never have.
Oh, there was a
What's it
GIF.
from?
I've definitely heard it in several places, but I always recall specifically a GIF someone took of like Elmo dancing on the toilet, and they put the text over it.
That's good. I dig it. I really like that. Say it again. What was it again?
Boss makes a dollar, I make a dime. That's why I poop on company time.
Nice. That's good stuff. Um, yeah. What I was gonna say in terms of the honesty angle, I was gonna say that one of the reasons, and as I kind of buried the lead, I was gonna say this deals with the DLC, so we can talk about that as well. I hate when examples like Street Fighter, was it versus Tekken, that had the on disc characters that are just. Yeah, there we go. I will just
That
let
one
you
was the
start. How do you
worst one
feel?
ever of all time.
That's what I've heard. Is it just because it was so egregious, or what?
It's the question I have for it, I need to look this up historically. What I need to ask for it, okay. I need to say on the capitalist level, I acknowledge that I am entitled to as much as the characters as they promise on disc as they promise. And if they advertised 30 characters on disc, and that did not include, Blanca and whoever else was the DLCs on disc, already on disc, but they advertise 30 characters, I get 30 characters, then I say, fair enough. Blanca may be hidden on the disc and I can't play them, but economically, they promised me a product, I read about the product, I purchased the product, fair deal. However, I will say that from the standpoint of questioning the sincerity of that, which even like sincerity, I guess, like there's an argument to be had, like whatever. Like I said, buyer beware. But like from a standpoint of that, I have to look up when they were very first on disc. I have to ask, when you turn them on, were they fully playable or was it like janky, bugged out, fucked up versions of them?
Right. That's where
Because
the things get a little bit blurry.
Devil May Cry 5 came with a quote unquote on disc playable version of Virgil, but Virgil was the final boss of that game. Spoilers for a game that's 5 years old now. Sorry, folks. And and he only could do the like 4 moves that the boss version of him could do. Otherwise, the past playable versions of Virgil in previous games had big movesets of like 30 moves. And this quote unquote playable version of Virgil not only had most of his buttons did nothing, he was missing most of his moves because the NPC version of him doesn't use those moves. And also, I want to say there were several things that were just straight up fucked about him that just like either wouldn't work or like, oh, if you try to do this, the other character, like if you try to jump on this platform, the game just crashes. At
Oh,
which point it's like perfectly understandable, like, yeah, this is not, you have not been cheated. I don't think anyone wants this switch turned on. Like, play fucked up buggy Virgil, discount Virgil mode. And later on, they released DLC. It was like, okay, now it's fully playable Virgil with all the moves and all the shit. And hey, you don't have to go in and press the switch to go turn the zero integer into a 1 or whatever.
right.
That's a different case when it's like fucked up, buggy, totally never meant to be playable. Boss Virgil is in there, and you can figure out just to press buttons with them. That's definitely a very different case. And if Blanca or whoever came in the game and they were like that, I think that's a lot more understandable. That's blatantly like Blanca just wasn't finished in time. If Blanca was definitely finished on time and they just were like, we're gonna hold him back and charge people for it, I will say, in terms of feeling shitty as a consumer, that's different. Though, like I said, ethically, in terms of like how I view things as ethics and all that, I don't view it any differently.
Okay, and that's all fair. That's a perfectly valid sound
That
argument.
man has two toes on either foot.
I didn't notice.
He's a turtle.
I don't.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
I have to see him
Teenage
again.
Mutant Ninja Patriarch.
It flows right off the tongue.
Yeah, and then to the tune of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme. You killed my children. What the?
Yeah. Was that another Franklin reference, or was that just a straight up what the?
That's, you remember I said if Patriarch spawns on bombs, he'll say what the, and then die.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm curious if that happened. Whoa! You guys go flying! Holy shit!
He decloaked right in my face. It was great.
That's what he kept on doing to me the other day. Not happy about that. Wow, that didn't take long though. We nailed him. All right.
Come go.
You're giving money to the bad guy. That's funny. Yeah. I don't say this facetiously. That was a good argument. I understand where you're coming from. I suppose the only thing I would say in response is that what would be a question actually, if you feel, and again, this is a good argument. It's a good way of looking at it. If you feel that in this example you were promised 30 characters on the disc, so you got 30, and regardless of whether or not there were any more locked away or whatever, you got what you were promised. That's correct. That's a fair argument. Would you not, however, feel as if you were at least somewhat taken advantage of by the dishonesty of I guess just the simple act of knowing that you could have had more and they just held it back for more money? Does that not offset the? Go ahead.
In terms of feelings, yes.
Do you think that do you think that since in the alternative, I got booted, I'm coming back in again. I guess it's just gonna happen. I guess with every map or something, I might have to like undo.
It's certainly not every map. It seems to be random.
Was it not? No, yeah, you're right. We didn't start that map with me fucked up. That's true. Let me see if I remember how.
That was a whole new fucked up you ran into in the middle of the map.
That's which is not good, but yeah, that's right. It didn't start the map that way. I suppose I'll say it this way: if you feel as if you were accurately given what you were promised, in this example, the 30 characters on the disc, would you say that it's therefore okay for a company to continue the practice of, for example, not giving you everything that was promised by locking it? That came out wrong. I'm a little bit confused because my character actually didn't show up yet.
Giving me everything that was promised, but continuing to store things that I can't have access to.
Right, yeah. Do you think that it's necessarily, obviously, for yourself, I guess, well, depending on how you choose to look at it, whether it's for yourself or just in general for the world at large, do you feel that since you do find it acceptable, not necessarily preferable, but acceptable in terms of honesty, that you got what you were promised, even though there was more available that was held back from you, do you feel that if that is the case, therefore it is okay to continue such a practice?
Well, it might get on my nerves somewhat, and that would definitely influence me in some way, but my stance on it wouldn't really change. I'm not really...
fair. That's perfectly fine.
I have a little bit of the Immanuel Kant, like, logic. Immanuel Kant was a German philosopher from, like, the 1700s.
I legit thought it was like a WWE. There's so many cons in wrestling now. I honestly thought that was another one.
No, K-A-N-T. I just didn't say the T. I didn't pronounce the T very loudly because I'm gonna be honest. If I said it too loudly, it might sound like I said a very different word that the Australians are very fond of.
I thought that it might have gone in that direction. Fair enough.
But Immanuel Kant was a philosopher. I like everything I've read of his. I've not read everything of his, though. I've probably read only a fraction of what he wrote. But nonetheless, Kant was very famous for having, like, a moral code that was, like, absolutely, like, what was done in the past, like, It is no more acceptable for you to do something than for other people. It is no longer if you see a guy steal from a lemonade stand and you go, you shouldn't steal from a lemonade stand. That's a humble little lemonade stand. They're just looking to make a little bit of money. They're probably, but then you steal from the lemonade stand because you're like, oh, I'm thirsty, and that's bullshit under Kant's view, right? And Kant
Well,
this kind of,
is that because you were the hypocrite who told them that they couldn't, or is it regardless of the fact that you told somebody else no?
yeah, it's regardless of judgment. It's plainly what morals you apply to others, you must apply to yourself. What morals you apply to yourself, you must apply to others. And further, time and context does not, like, the Kantian view is generally that time and context don't change morality that much. The Kantian view is basically the opposite of you need to judge things on a case-by-case basis, which is why I think a lot of people don't like it. They would consider it a morally absolutist view, which I guess I kind of am a moral absolutist.
I was going to say, it kind of is in a way, but I see what you're saying, though.
Either which way, like, for me, like, time and context doesn't change morality. Like, I think that things that the Romans did were fucked up, even though when people say, like, well, the Romans didn't know as much as we did. They didn't know how fucked up this was. I go, yeah, but it's fucked up for you or me to do it now. Are we really any different human beings than the Romans were? And, you know,
that's tough. That's getting into the whole humanity kind of like. I'm not saying I don't want to talk about that, but I'm saying that actually, it kind of in a good way that opens up a whole new realm of discussion.
Yeah, but like, what I mean is temporal status does not affect morality for me.
Okay.
Them doing it now or tomorrow or yesterday does not change to me my moral estimation of their actions.
Okay. Oh, I got a, not to disrupt, but I got an achievement back to work. I killed 20 Christmas clots. I didn't know there was such a thing as a Christmas clot.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we've been killing.
Yeah,
here.
they added, so they're supposed to, during Halloween and Christmas season, the zombies are replaced with goofy Halloween and Christmas variants. Like, the basic zombies are replaced with Christmas elves. And they, like, come up to you giggling in high-pitched voices and saying they're gonna make toys out of you and shit.
Oh, cool.
And, they added achievements for, you know, kill 100 Christmas zombies. But they never set it to go off whenever you're outside the Christmas season. So killing zombies any season counts for it.
Yeah. That's funny. What a funny little, I don't want to say glitch, but what a funny kind of like, oversight, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I've not played the game during the seasons that much, but I have a lot of seasonal achievements.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was gonna say I want to shoot a little giggling elf. That sounds great.
Some servers, sadly, the only easy mode servers I've seen that are running, like, you can set the server to run forever Halloween or forever Christmas, but the only ones I've seen do that on easy mode are, like, in Australia or something.
Ah, okay.
If we go up a difficulty, it might be more, but
You know, I saw there was a really compelling sandbox mode. I saw where you can adjust like how many creatures spawn in each wave and stuff like that. Have you ever tried that?
I've played around with it a little bit in single player, not a tremendous amount, but I know that I know of the mechanic. Though I only just found out yesterday that, no, the day before yesterday. I was playing with you yesterday. But why am I trying to knife a spider zombie when I'm not even the melee class?
Desperation? Question
yeah.
mark?
Yeah. We'll blame it on that. But I was only just the other day playing Payday and saw that not only had they added several game modes that were pretty like score rush, or see how well you can survive against infinite police on this stage. But they had also added where you could apply mutators, similar to the custom difficulty thing in Phasmophobia. There were mutators you could change, like how much health do the cops have, how quickly do they detect you, yada yada, and they would affect the amount of money you get.
Yeah, I saw the mutators option, but I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was like whatever, something related to one of the monsters in the game. Like, this is the mutator type. Do something with it.
That's the funny thing. Left 4 Dead started the practice, I believe, and that's why they called it mutators. The idea was, oh, it's a mutation of the zombies. And it was every week the mutation would change, and it would be stuff that would be fairly simple, like, oh, all the enemies are now just this one type. Instead of a diverse mixture of enemies, you now have to face just a bunch of these fucking dudes. And the most famous mutator was Soul Survivor, which turns off not only player teammates, but AI teammates, and you have to try and beat the levels just by your lonesome, which in Left 4 Dead is borderline impossible and thus is the ultimate check of skill.
I see. Okay, that's interesting. I would be curious to try that with the custom difficulty. Oh, I'm trying to figure out what this person's doing.
Meh.
I guess they're. Oh, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, I think that'd be interesting to do with the sandbox. Like, I wonder what it would be like to add, for example. Like, at one point I just tried just seeing how many digits it would take, and it took 3. I like said, okay, how many enemies per wave can we face? And I got to like 669 or something like that. You know, and I thought, wow, that's if it lets me do that, it wouldn't let me import a 4th digit, but I thought, wow, if it lets me put in 3, and I got I just randomly type a digit a number that started with 6, and it didn't say no too much. I thought, wow, there might not be a limit then. The only warning I got was that it might, depending on the settings, it might make the game run poorly. So I thought if you did that and we gave ourselves like loads of money or I guess you'd have to have loads of weaponry. That just sounds
Yeah.
like it'd be a real. Yeah. I mean, imagine the chaos of that many enemies just coming
Would they
nonstop. I don't
spawn
know if
all
you'd
at
be able to.
once, or would it just be respawning?
Yes, see, I don't know. I'm not really sure how that would work. I guess I don't
Would
know
it
how it
turn
works
into
currently.
Dynasty Warriors?
I was kind of wanting to think that it would go in that direction. I would love to
'Ca-
play a game like this with Dynasty Warriors type settings. Just get surrounded.
Yeah. My god, that sucks for the
Although in this
explosives
game,
guy.
yeah. Oh God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, there'd be some repercussions then for sure.
The flamethrower guy
Well,
would have a great time, though.
oh, that'd be fun. That reminds me of an old PS1 game, like an initial gen release for the PS1, a game called Loaded. And in that game, it was I don't recall. Are you guys familiar with Smash TV?
I know the lines you quote from it, but that's all I know. I don't even know
I
what the
kind of
game
like
looks
that.
like or plays like.
Oh,
All
okay.
I know about that game is, honestly, big prizes, big money. I love it.
Yep, yeah, that's right. Just switch around the money and the prizes, and that's verbatim. Yeah, it is the concept of since I've apparently never told you before. I guess the concept of Smash TV is essentially it is a game show set in the future where
Running
characters
Man.
are put. I was gonna say that actually. Yes, a lot of people actually said that the Running Man is almost like a. Which one came first? The Running Man came first, so I guess. Well, either way,
Stephen King wrote
regardless.
Running Man in the early 80s.
Well, that's true, yeah, but he disowned the movie because it was too dissimilar, which he's unfortunately had to do with a couple of his books.
Heh.
Yeah, the Smash TV was based on a game called Robotron, and in both games, I'll just focus on Smash TV. Smash TV is a game where, yeah, you are. It takes place in the future, and it is a game in which you play a. I don't think he's a criminal or anything. He's just like a gladiator, combatant, whatever, who takes place or he goes through this maze basically and just kills just encroaching surrounding like Dynasty Warrior style waves after waves after waves of enemies.
Heh.
And it is top down. It was released in the I think about 1990. So you figure 16-bit graphics like Super Nintendo Genesis era graphics if you I know that's before your time, but I'm assuming you're
Well,
familiar with those.
I don't know what generation the Genesis is. I've never known the generations of the Sega consoles. But I know the generations of the Nintendo consoles, and further, as I told you before, I've beaten Super Metroid and a couple other Super Nintendo games. I've beaten Link to the Past as well.
Oh, I don't know if we ever talked about Link to the Past. I remember a conversation we had about Metroid, but I remember it
It
in
wasn't
context of
much
the.
because I just wasn't terribly impressed with the game. I beat it and I was like, yeah,
Oh
this is a
wow.
well designed game. I just wasn't like over the moon about it. Whereas comparatively Super Metroid, I was like, oh my god, this game's fucking amazing.
Yeah, most people would say that they both are. So as long as you like even one of them, then you're still doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Smash TV, the Genesis in general is of the exact same era as the Super Nintendo. It was its direct competitor. So when you think of Sonic, when you think of Super Mario World, Super Metroid, those are all from like the same couple of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, Smash TV was, I guess, kind of similar, sort of, to A Link to the Past. That game was sort of like three-quarters perspective. It wasn't straight top down, but it was that era of graphics. Smash TV has you going from single screen room to single screen room, single screen. I said scream. Single screen room to single screen room, and there's all kinds of pop-ups that show up on in the screen. There's all kinds of like weapons, temporary weapons you can grab to help thin out the herds that are coming after you. There's all kinds of like little bonus items you can get for more points. But it's essentially just a I guess what would it be described as now? Like a crowd shooter, I guess. Like again, picture Dynasty Warriors top down, single screen to single screen. Then you
Yeah.
have Smash TV. Yeah, and oh, why did I even bring that up? There was a specific reason I brought that up.
Killing floor with a billion enemies.
Yeah, that's right. We were actually talking about. You mentioned the flamethrower. How that'd be interesting to fry a bunch of flamethrower, or rather, flamethrow a bunch of fry a bunch of enemies that are all surrounding you at once. I was going to say that there's a game for the PS1 called Loaded. It came out in 1990, I think 5, right after the PS1 came out, and it was essentially as I described Smash TV. It's a top-down game, not screen by screen, but it's nonetheless a top-down game where your character roams through a maze and just kills wave after wave of enemies. And in that game, which was violent and brutal, not that Smash TV wasn't, but Loaded was like very dark themed. It had like I think swearing and stuff like that. It was kind of here's a zombie jumping up and down in front of this window. You see him?
I keep. The great thing is I keep shooting at him and missing. So he's
I'm
taunting
behind
me.
him.
I see. Yeah, he looks joyous.
He does.
And
Yeah,
since he's the fat one, you can't see from our side, but he's got jiggle physics where his big old man boobies are bouncing.
Oh, that's terrible. I would have thought that a game this old would have jiggle physics. And put to good use, no less.
Yeah, well, fuck, how early did Tomb Raider have jiggle physics? Oh, he got through!
I was going to let him go. That sucks. I was going to let him go until the girl showed up. Tomb Raider debuted in 96. I would be very surprised if it had jiggle physics until like 98 or 99.
On the two polygons that made up her tits.
Yeah. When you look at old, well, they're now old, but when you look at what were at that time new pictures of this new game, Tomb Raider, her tits were literally protruding triangles.
Yes.
I mean, there were like ramps that came forward. It's fucking ridiculous. And at that time, though, yeah, I won't say myself because this is true. I was not into the game like other people were, but at that time there were lots of people who wanted to see that digital character nude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever. First game for a lot of people, I guess, that had a hot woman in it. Whatever. Fair enough. Whatever. You deal with the technology you got at the time. I won't say that I've never found a video game woman attractive, but that one wasn't the one that did it for me. But Loaded was a game that came out right around the same time. Like I said, top down, very violent. And in that game, one of the characters you could play had a flamethrower, and you could just I mean, as you would imagine, just rows and rows of enemies just like trying to encase you, and you just fry them all. Just waves of cooked potatoes. It was really, really viscerally satifying. And I just not realized that was that the guy we were playing with earlier, the one in the red?
He came back.
Oh, okay. That's I was gonna say I'm kind of surprised that he did that, but I guess maybe he either remembered the server or when you looked up to set this game up for us the other day.
Probably looked for other servers to join and then saw that nobody else was in any, so he joined this one.
That's what I was just about to ask. When you set up the server for us the other day, or at least when you set up the game, found the server that you found, whatever it may be, did you find a lot of other people playing?
No. Empty servers.
Really?
Yep.
That actually surprises me. As old as this game is, that really surprises me.
I'm willing to bet the people that are still playing it and are still fans of it are playing on higher difficulties than easy.
Oh, I didn't think of that. We wouldn't see those servers. That's correct. Also, being that there's a sequel, I would assume that a lot of people probably just moved on to the next one.
Like I said, the sequel made some big changes, but like I would expect there to be people who haven't moved on. At the same time, I think that in a lot of ways, it wasn't largely an improvement.
I'm sorry, did you say that in many ways it was not an improvement?
In many ways it was. In most ways it was an improvement. There's only like a couple little small issues I have with it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I did not look the second one up, but I looked this one up when I was, checking for maps and so forth, and I was a little bit surprised. Not that I don't love it. I've definitely come to love this game right away, but I was a little bit surprised that on Steam it has an overwhelmingly positive rating.
This is considered one of the Steam multiplayer classics, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sure I must have heard of it back in the day, and I just...
So, there's a little bit of like a bygone era attached to this game. There was a time period where Steam was it was a much smaller place. Now when you go into the front page of Steam, you see every major AAA game, and you see anime big titty game, anime dungeon big titty waifu game. There was a time when Steam would have like 2 new releases a week, maybe.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And you would every week go on Steam, and you'd go and check, hey, what's on Steam this week? Oh, hey, that looks cool. And Team Fortress 2...
from time to time, yeah.
Team Fortress 2 was, and Left 4 Dead were kind of the hearts of the game. They were Valve's own games, so of course, that made a lot of sense. That was back in the day where largely you would get on Steam because you wanted to play Valve's games. And Team Fortress, to tie into many of the big Steam releases, would add new guns or new cosmetics in the game that tied into in Team Fortress that tied into the game, and the gimmick would be, if you buy Killing Floor, get this new cosmetic in Team Fortress where you can dress your character up as this character from Killing Floor.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that nearly all of the Total War games for the first 10 years or so had similar such tie-ins, which is why I can log into Team Fortress 2 right now, and 2 of the classes have katanas, and one of them has a samurai helmet, one of them has a Napoleonic hat. I'm sure I can dress one of them up like a Roman legionary. And Killing Floor was one of the ones that tied in. And by that, using Team Fortress, they were able to promote a bunch of the other games that would come out on Steam made by other devs and other publishers. And, okay, I'm going to ignore that she said that.
What'd she say?
Milk just typed into chat, who's oiled up right now, question mark. Oh, she's probably asking for money. Okay.
Oh.
There you go. I'll hand out money. For a second, I was worried what oiled up meant.
Well, she's not going back to the shop, so that might not have been what she was wanting. Maybe she just... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I am so not used to playing with other people I don't know. I don't know what the typical, reaction would be to something like that.
Luckily, most players in most online games are silent. However, that was a little bit strange.
Did you say it? Oh, you said she typed it. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I turned off the voice chat. I don't need to, like I said, I don't need somebody coming in here and writing out my Mein Kampf or whatever.
Yeah, I'm fine with that decision.
Yeah. I'm playing with you, the other people are coincidental.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
A lot like Dead by Daylight, honestly. Oh!
Yeah,
that was great!
Oh, I missed it all. What happened?
Well, no, that was...
Oh, fuck, I'm dead. I'm out.
Oh, boy.
Not. Wow, I threw a grenade down and I did not blow myself up. I don't know how, but...
Oh, the screamer, if the screamer screams in the radius of a grenade, she makes the grenade cease to exist.
Oh, okay. Someone just saved my ass.
Oh, boy. Careful.
That was crazy.
Ah! This is bad.
I just heard someone say something. Ah! Get me out of here!
Another screamer. This is bad. Well, the screamer died, so I was able to kill the guys just after they killed you.
Oh. I don't know how I got caught on that one. That's the first time I've died in a while, just due to literally just getting crowded and getting killed.
Yeah. The issue with isolation, I suppose.
Yeah, well, you guys were behind me, and somebody saved me from the first pile that I was in. Like, I was literally about 2 points away from death, and just the whole crowd blew up, and it was like, yeah, badass. And unfortunately, my health was still too low by the time the next crowd got on me.
That's one of those situations where I definitely regret not picking the medic, because I definitely would have been able to save you if I was the medic there.
Ah, that's alright.
Last one before the Patriarch, by the way.
Oh, shit. I hope I have enough money to get my shotgun, then.
I'm not doing this with you right now, man. Fuck off.
Nope, what else are you trying to do?
Fuck off! No, actually go away. I'm not playing this fucking game with you, motherfucker. There we go.
What is happening?
He was trying to do the goalie thing again.
What does that involve, since I didn't see it last time?
Doing a big dance around you, catching the money as I was throwing it out at you.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, honestly, like soccer goalie. As I move, he was mirroring my movements to catch
I
the
see.
money. So I forgot to buy ammo or armor before I gave out all my money, but I can make do with
Oh.
this. Oh, shit, thank you.
No problem. Do you still need more?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good, cool.
Money drop.
It's nice to hear a female voice for the first time in a while.
So, one of the funnier things with this game, for about the first 4 years after release, people kept asking, add a female player character. And the devs would say, the technical limitations prevent us. And then they abruptly were like, guys, we gotta figure it out. Here's 4 chicks.
It's hard to know how, like obviously Pink and yeah, I guess you're included too. A lot of us prefer to play as female characters.
I
I
mix it
can't
up.
say that I necessarily. Yeah, you do. Yeah, more than I think Pink and I probably do. I don't know why that is. I don't know if I necessarily have a reason to explain why I like playing as female characters. I didn't used to. Like I didn't hate the idea or anything, but I thought, well, I'm a male, why not pick a male? And for some reason as I got older, I thought, it's kind of cool to be female, why not? And I don't really know why. You know what? I'm so used to living in a society where people are like, well, you know, how can you identify with this? You know, you have to, you know, you have, I don't
Penis.
know, whatever.
Dangle between the legs. It must.
It must? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It must. The penis must dangle. I mean, I'd prefer to do that than, I guess, whatever the alternative might be. Oh, there. Oh, I thought that was the boss there for a second. Or the patriarch, that is.
Where
I
is he?
hear him. Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't found him yet.
Hold on, chick.
He's, shit.
Just a lot of basic dudes.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know if anyone's engaged him yet.
Is he just beating on the chick somewhere and we don't know?
I'm worried about that. Yeah, I'm honestly thinking it might be because we haven't seen him yet, so I have no idea where she is.
Oh, I'm reloading. It's the fact that nobody said anything and yet the character shouts, oh, yep, that actually, yes.
That sucks. That sucks.
Okay, you and me should stick together.
Yeah, now that we know that's going on.
That guy is coincidental.
He's expendable.
He's jumping, he's on fire, he's got a pistol. Clearly, there's a wild card here.
Okay, I see a bunch of blood.
I don't think that was her. He's close, I can hear him.
I think I just saw him. I think I saw flame, at least. No. Oh, here he is. Here he is. I got him. I mean, I didn't get him, but I'm on him.
Yeah. Oh, is that it? Well, I assume that she did most of the work there.
I'm assuming so as well.
I ran out of money.
I was wondering, yeah, normally you just pour that shit out. Oh,
Yeah.
it disappears. I didn't know it would do that.
Gaming.
Yes, we are.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how many multiplayer games I've even played online. I've played a very small amount of Call of Duty.
Oh, we're going to the map that confused you and I don't like.
It confused me. Was it the one that we played earlier today? The waterfall looking one?
No, it's the one you saw before you played the game. We're going to the bright, happy, open Sunday road.
Yeah, when you said confused me, I wasn't exactly sure what you meant. Yeah, when I saw the person playing this again, it was just one person by themselves using what looked like a very low, like first level. I mean, to be fair, the clip was a half an hour, but I thought, okay, I'll start watching the beginning and we'll see how it goes. And obviously, at the beginning it was one wave, and they were a very sparse amount of enemies, and it was just the guy mainly just staying on the road, just kind of going around the curve, and it was like this just looks really kind of boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really glad that I gave it a chance. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, well, I'll try it, but I don't know. That clip looked bad, but yeah, you can't always judge a book by its cover.
This map is just ludicrously like big and bright and warm for what is a. It just sticks out so badly as not fitting the theme of every other map in the fucking game.
Yes, it is a lot different. That also didn't help. It seemed just so, I don't know, not pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Mundane, I guess.
Yeah,
It just, I
there's
like
the occasional
natural.
ambulance on fire to let you know this is post-apocalyptic, but that's it. Okay, well,
Yeah.
admittedly, this big-ass bloodstain is also fairly apocalyptic, but nonetheless.
Did we just make it, or was that already on the ground? I didn't
That was
notice.
there on the ground. The game, you don't make... Oh. I could swear you couldn't make bloodstains on the ground, but I just watched you
I was
make
just,
one.
I was gonna say, yeah, earlier I was making a lot.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just random. Maybe the. Oh wow, yeah.
I do have to note that is one thing Killing Floor 2 very much has an advantage over Killing Floor 1 on, is that Killing Floor 2 has a much more dynamic gore system, and it sprays and splatters over the walls, and you can set in the
Oh,
settings menu to turn off bodies going away with time.
oh yeah, I love that. Great, that's cool.
I don't know if I kept it, but I made a screenshot once of when I blew an entire hallway of zombies up, and it was honestly from ceiling to floor, every inch of the walls drenched in blood with various body parts and guts everywhere.
That's great. Yeah, I've always been just like a fan of the visceral, gory, the bloodier, the more graphic the body parts. I don't know why. I just find it satisfying. It's like a visual reward of my I don't want to say skill, but my efforts. Like, excuse
Yeah,
me, my efforts, I guess. Yeah. And yeah, it's very rarely does the game do that, where they let the decals, which would be the blood splatters, or the corpses, which obviously would be the props, the assets. Rarely do the games just let them sit around. It's usually too taxing on the resources, and so they usually cut that stuff out.
yeah. Payday 2, I also turned on. It also has a setting, turn off body decay. And that one really highlights how absurd that game is on long heists. And I look in the lobby of the bank. I think I sent you a message when I did this, and it was
You
honestly
did.
I should have taken a screenshot because it's honestly there was no inch of floor that was not covered by dead cops, and that game doesn't really have that much blood or gore. So it's almost as if like there's 1,000 SWAT members taking a fucking nap on the bank floor.
Yeah, I think you said it was. Yeah, the entire floor was covered, like literally the entire floor,
Yeah,
which would have been pretty impressive to see. Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of when I first discovered the oh, what was it called? The Doom mod, Brutal Doom. When I first found Brutal Doom, it was such a joy. It took a game that I already loved, and it just turned the blood and gore up by like man,
yeah,
250%. Yeah, it was so great. Like you said,
and
I mean,
adds
just
a
like
middle finger button because naturally,
yeah, that's I forgot about that part. You're right. Yeah, I found Brutal Doom like literally I think the same weekend that I found a really good Doom procedural level generator. That was like, oh man, for a while there I was just in fucking heaven. Just run the thing for 30 seconds and boom, 10 brand new Doom levels to play. They weren't always as perfect as like a new, they often weren't. I mean, to be fair, they often weren't
yeah,
as great
John
as
Romero and oh shit, who was the other major level
John
design?
Carmack.
John Carmack was a coder, but he wasn't a level designer.
Was he not? You're right that he was a coder. I can't remember. They're famously the two Johns. I can't remember what the third guy would have been.
There was a different game level designer, and he went on to
Oh, did he
also
do
be a
Quake?
no. I think he did work on Quake, but he went on to after he was done with id, he went on to become a tabletop game designer, and he actually kind of wound up being even more famous for that. So Ted
Oh
probably
wow.
knows him.
Yeah, he probably would. I cannot say that sounds familiar to me.
I'm trying to remember. He was the one that when like famously when they did the interviews asking
I don't know if it was on purpose, but it looked like it was. The guy just literally jumped off a cliff.
I saw it happen vaguely in the distance, then I got a notification. Tilda L left a small crater.
I didn't notice that part. That's good.
Given the disappointed face emoji he just left in the chat, I'll assume that was an accident.
That's funny. He was hopping up and down, hopping up and down. And I guess he was just exploring the area over here where Cliff was, which to me would have been a clue not to keep doing it. But, we all make mistakes, I suppose. It was funny to watch. Like he just kind of disappeared. He's hopping, hopping, hopping. Then suddenly the character disappeared from my view, and oh, there's the message that he died. Okay. Yeah, the
The
Doom.
guy,
Go on.
okay, here's at least one bit you may know from him is that famously, like, he in an interview or something like that, someone asked him about, like, some people have said Doom is satanic, and you're a vocal Christian, so how do you feel about that? And the guy responded with, yeah, but the demons are the bad guys, and you're shooting them in the face. I don't see that as being very pro-Satan. That seems remarkably anti-Satan.
Yeah, I mean, when you really get down to it. I cannot. I have a book called Masters of Doom, which what I've read of it was really good, but like many things, I just never finished it. And I'm sure it was replete with conversations with that fellow, but I cannot think of the person's name.
And
I only remember
conversations
the
with
two
John
Johns.
Romero is just a super cool dude. And then conversations with John Carmack, where he just talks about eating people.
Is it really that was a thing?
No, he's
Oh,
just,
okay.
I mean, you've seen him, right?
Last I saw pictures of him, he looked just like your average like college geek.
There was, I believe I read up once that he was caught, he was part of a team, like, during his high school years, part of a team to break, students that were breaking in. And he had specifically, like, figured out how to break through locks using thermite.
Oh shit.
And the actual, like, the police said, brilliant kid, possibly sociopath. Let's hope he works on something good with his life and not something horrible.
That's great.
And, like,
Let's hope he uses his powers for good.
yeah, every quote I've seen from him indicates something like that. Like, I remember he was the one that famously said, like, somebody asked him in an interview, like, how do you feel about the story in games and yada yada? Because John Carmack was famously the one that said, cut down on the story in Doom. It's unnecessary. We'll just have it be gameplay. Well, somebody asked him about that at a convention or something, and John Carmack, on recording, I believe, answered with, I think video games are like porn. You expect the story to be there, but you don't actually expect it to actually be worth anything.
Yeah, it's fine if it's there, but it doesn't really matter in the end.
Yeah.
Really quick, I want to continue with this, but really quick, what's happening to us right now is what I saw in the video. It's just like nothing's really happening.
Yeah, this
Just
map is so big and
kind of
empty.
simplistic. Yeah, I didn't realize that from the clip, but that must be what's causing the problem here. Just like nothing's really going on. And again, yeah, when I saw that in the video, it was like this just doesn't look all that good.
Yeah.
And yeah, this would have I would have definitely regret. Well, I guess if I never played it, I wouldn't have regretted it. But I'm glad that I did not have to regret not playing this.
Yeah. This map, like, the farm map I like better because it has those farmhouses and the like to hold out in. But that is pretty well my issue with this map, is, like, on top of being not fitting the aesthetic, why is it so big and wide open? Why is it like this?
I generally agree. I do like the I like the aesthetic.
If
in
it
terms
spawned
of,
more
while it
enemies to
doesn't-
match how open it was, that'd be different. But it's still the
Yeah,
same
that would
amount of
make it a-
enemies you'd get on a smaller map.
Yeah, that would significantly change the map a lot. I think. This I love the aesthetic in terms of just I love the woods, I love forests or whatever, and so because of that I like the map. Although I do recognize it doesn't really fit. On the other hand, though, I do like the variety. But then on the
Yeah,
other hand, again, yeah, I don't like that it is. Yeah, it's like Jesus Christ, where's all the enemies?
or maybe make it where it's not so much more enemies, because that's more taxing on the game's processing. But, like, make it spawn more of the zombie types or mutant types that are deadly in the open, and less of the ones that are deadly in close quarters, right?
Yeah, or at the very least, spawn a bunch of the faster ones,
Yeah.
so you don't have to go so long before engagement.
Yep.
But yeah, the I'm trying to think of what the program was called that I used to make Doom maps because it was really good and it was ironically enough it was a memorable name that I'm having trouble placing. I can't quite remember what it was. It was like so simple. It's like right in the back of my head. I can picture it, but I cannot think of it. It's like right there. Oh, that's gonna bother me. I'll think of it later. Regardless, it's ended now anyway. You can still get it, but the person, the developer, sadly closed up shop after a while. What I was gonna say is that yeah, as one would guess, yeah, the levels that it would generate were not in some cases nowhere near as good, as complex, as consistent in design and theme and so forth of the official levels, of course, created by not only intelligent people but also people who, of course, had
Some
the
of them were
tools to
designed by American
carefully.
McGee. That's one name I can
Who?
mention off. American McGee.
What was? Oh, I
What
didn't know
the?
he was in Doom. He
Okay.
we lost.
Apparently, that's an unacceptable height.
I did not know that American McGee had anything to do with Doom. That's like the
Yeah.
original?
One of the level designers
Really?
on the first one, but not the second one.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if I'm guessing I never knew that before. In fact I didn't. The only time I think well, not the only time. The first time I ever heard of American McGee was didn't he do like an Alice in Wonderland type of game, a horror
Yes.
game of some kind? Yeah, okay. That's the first time I ever heard the name. And I remember thinking, what a stupid nickname. And I guess that's his real
Nope.
name.
That's his real name. His
Yeah, that's
parents
unfortunate.
actually named him American.
It's fine that a character's named. I mean, it's fine that he has the name it is. It's fine. Just I find it very, very dorky.
It really is.
Not, I mean, just not even just American, like American Johnson, whatever. That's, I mean, well, okay, let's not say Johnson.
It
American
sounds like
Johnson
it
sounds a little-
sounds like somebody's making fun of him.
right. It does. Yeah, that's right.
Here's Mr. American McGee here.
Yeah, here's American McGee. Yeah. Here's the flag. It's the name. It's the nickname for Kurt Russell. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
not Kurt Russell. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle. I'm sorry.
Kurt Russell kind of works too,
Kurt
though.
Russell.
I would struggle to think of a more distinctively American actor than him, right?
Yeah,
Like, imagine if you
yes,
saw
that is
him
true.
playing someone who wasn't American. You'd kind of raise an eyebrow, like,
Well, it's American McGee. You can't
Yeah.
have him play a foreigner. It doesn't fit.
Honestly, that's kind of how Gary Oldman is, even though he's English. That's a lot of people have said they're so confused when they find out he's English. Cause like, what do you mean Gary Oldman is English? He plays Americans in every fucking movie.
Yeah, he plays so many Americans, and he's so good with an American accent.
Yeah.
I guess I should say English. Well, not English. American English, obviously. You just
He's
wouldn't think
actually
that he's
worse
not
with an
native.
English accent.
Is he really? I've
He's-
seen him in
he
a
is-
couple movies where he used his regular voice, and he seemed fine to me.
No, what I mean is he has said that after doing big strings of movies where he plays Americans, he has had to go to speech therapy to relearn his
Oh,
proper
yeah.
accent because he just gets so used to talking with an American accent. And so naturally he goes back home and his family and friends are talking to American Gary and they're like, what the fuck?
That makes sense. That goes along with what I was saying in a way of how when I sleep into Australian, I can do Australian at the drip of a hit, but then I can't. I have to struggle to do British. I have to make myself say things differently, and even then I fail. I
Yeah.
can't do it anymore. Australian, it consumed my British. I can't do it. So yeah, I would imagine that if you're so used to the inflections, the cadence, and everything else of American English, that yeah, I would imagine that'd be difficult.
Have I ever told you? You must know this already. You probably already know a lot of Lord of the Rings behind the scenes trivia. But do you know the Brad Dourif bit of trivia there?
I don't know a lot about his experiences making the movies. No.
So, when they had finished shooting, after, Orlando Bloom shoots him with a bow,
Right.
he then, Peter Jackson yells, "Cut! There we go. That was a good take. All right. Filming, everybody clap. Filming has wrapped for Mr. Dourif." And then Brad Dourif shouted, "Finally, I can talk normally."
Oh, okay.
And everyone on set was like stunned because they thought Brad Dourif was just English up until then.
Oh wow! I have to go back and watch his performance again. I'm so used to knowing him as Chucky.
Yeah.
To me, his voice sounded more or less the same, just with a slight accent. But if you're not as familiar with the character, if you're not as familiar with him just doing that type of voice, I guess you would just assume that yeah, he speaks the way he does in Lord of the Rings.
Also, he would have probably, for pretty well all of his time on set, most of his time on set, been under the worm tongue makeup.
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah. He probably had his own trailer like a lot of actors do. He probably, got his makeup taken off in there. The other actors probably didn't see him that much out of character, out of costume. So, yeah. And he was only a small support. I don't want to say small, but he was, relatively speaking, a small supporting character.
One of
So, he
the
probably wasn't,
distinctive antagonistic figures you can point to, but definitely not on the level of Sauron or Saruman.
Yeah.
But
especially
above
in
the
terms of sheer
Uruk-hai,
screen.
above like the Uruk-hai that kills Boromir, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he played a very important role, but he just didn't have a lot of time in the movies. I'm assuming the books as well. I've never read Lord of the Rings all the way through, so I
Well-
wish I have, but
Saruman and him get sent off in a very different way in the books. That's
I
the Scouring of
do
the
they?
Shire.
Oh, they both die in that. Okay.
I don't think they die. I think
Did they not
Gandalf.
die? Saruman even?
I want to say they get locked up somehow, because like,
Oh.
well, you gotta keep in mind Saruman and Gandalf are both effectively gods.
Gods, yeah, angels, whatever. Yeah.
So it was kind of, I think that would be one of those things where I would understand Ted getting a little bit mad at the idea of Legolas just casually like, well, that Wormtongue just stabbed Saruman, and Saruman's like, oh, godly power's gone, I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, you know, as often is the case with Ted, his gripes that were perhaps maybe specific,
He doesn't even
like
go
you
hard
allow
on Lord
them
of the Rings
to.
movies anymore. Nowadays, whenever Lord of the Rings movies come up, he'll usually be just casually like, he doesn't really mention the adaptation issues anymore. He'll just casually be like, yeah, that part was good.
I do remember my very few interactions with him regarding Lord of the Rings was I remember that at one point I can't remember who started it or what, but whatever, we were talking about it and he said at that time, of course, these movies are garbage. And it's like, okay, like you can dislike certain elements about them, but to call them garbage is profoundly off the mark.
Yeah.
Like from a filmmaking craftsmanship's perspective, you cannot say that this is poor quality. You just can't.
The
Go ahead.
last,
Where you?
I will say the last time I talked with him about those movies was just simply in conversation bringing up Tom Bombadil, who I assume you were aware of.
Yeah. That's kind of a sticking point for yeah.
And what he specifically
Hobbit who just jumps around and sings about how great he is. Yeah, he was cut out.
He's not a hobbit. He's like some kind of
hobbit-like. That's right. Yeah.
He's like some kind of elder god or something.
I didn't know that. Okay, yeah, I do. He's like some kind of like being of like higher. He's maybe he is an elder god. I don't know.
Tolkien never explains what he is, but he's the one guy who's completely immune to the ring.
Yeah, he's happy-go-lucky and he's not tempted and he loves to be fanciful and sing. And that's about it.
At some point, Tom Bombadil came up in discussion, and I explained. I said to Ted, like, dude, what you don't understand is you grew up reading the books, so like Tom Bombadil's just a thing who's there. You don't understand what it was like for someone who watched the movies first, then read the book, and ran into Tom Bombadil, and was just like, what the actual fuck is going on? Did I get the wrong copy of the book? And Ted's response more or less was like, okay, I have all kinds of issues with them removing some of the stuff from those adaptations. I will say Tom Bombadil had to go. And Ted just expressly said, yeah, he had to fucking go.
What I've heard from other people who are big fans of the book, other than obviously Ted, I've heard other fans basically say that the only fans who like Tom Bombadil and were genuinely upset that he wasn't in, were like the insane fans. Like people would say, I'm like a hardcore Lord of the Rings fan, and even I know that it's lame to want Tom Bombadil in the movies.
Like the thing about Tom Bombadil, there is one part of Tom Bombadil I like, and otherwise, like, it's not even that I hate him. It's just that it's like looking at like, what the fuck is this, right? It's not even hatred. He fits into the world fairly well. There's a strong element of whimsy to parts of the Lord of the Rings world, especially the closer you get to the Shire, the more whimsical it is. That's like literally a major narrative element that the further Frodo and Sam get from the Shire, the less happy and joyful people are, and the more dire shit gets.
Yeah, that's not a mistake.
But like, he's so fucking weird. But okay, right. The one thing I like about him is the ring thing gets brought up at, I don't know if you remember this, when they get to Rivendell. When they get to Rivendell and they talk about what to do with the ring, and everybody's arguing, Frodo mentions, like, well, guys, Tom Bombadil isn't bothered by it, and he's got his little domain in the woods that he said that Sauron can't see. Why don't we give it to him? And Gandalf says, no, Frodo, we can't do that, because if we give Tom the ring, he'll forget where he put it, and he'll lose it.
Oh, man. See, I was going to ask if that was addressed, and I don't know how I feel about that answer. That's both ingenious or the lamest thing I've ever heard.
Well, Gandalf follows it up by saying, and if he loses it, Sauron will eventually, by process of elimination, get the Tom Bombadil. And Tom Bombadil, whimsical as he is, cannot take on a war with Sauron.
Well, I'm glad that he at least, He covered his tracks. That's good. You gotta respect that.
Yeah.
My memory of what Ted said was basically, again, yeah, he said it was just, these movies suck, and his general argument was because they changed some things. I can understand that. I can absolutely understand that, especially from somebody who loved the books as much as he does. I think that's a little bit dismissive of just
Hoo-hoo!
the require. Go ahead.
I
What's
just
up?
got to mention this. I saw a crowd of the sword arm zombies in the distance. I got a very long fucking like what would they call it in football when you're throwing it from what? Well,
Oh
I
God, I
base
don't even know.
in
I don't watch.
basketball terms, I got a full court shot.
Oh.
I was arcing the grenade from so long away, perfectly nailed shot, killed 3 of the sword zombies in one bomb, and I got a little notification at the bottom You have upgraded demolition to perk level 2.
That's cool. Must have been very rewarding. I love when that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if it
I
happened when I just killed a random generic zombie at medium distance, it wouldn't have been significant. But that,
I'm proud of myself when I get a basket in Phasmophobia. So
yeah,
yeah,
you
something
should
like what you
be.
described is even better. Yeah, that's actually unusually difficult. Um, but yeah, I definitely understand the argument of not wanting to change things for the movies, but I think that dismisses a very important aspect of film as a medium. I mean, just even from time constraints to budget constraints to pacing. I mean, sometimes you just have to rearrange or just eliminate stuff. It's a different medium. What works for a book does not work for a film. And one good example is the Red Wedding, Game of Thrones. Which, whatever, if anyone's listening to this and you haven't, whatever, you don't
Well,
know
for
Game
Game
of
of Thrones, they
Thrones,
had to cut
Red
out
Wedding
paragraphs upon paragraphs of
about eating,
George
right?
George describing plates of fucking food.
Yeah, if he took as much time writing as he did thinking about and writing about food, if he took that much time actually writing a Game of Thrones book and cutting that shit out,
I
we'd have like 10
Dude,
books by now.
what if you're going in the wrong direction? What if it needs to be someone? No one. Someone we need to tell George. Like George, like I don't know about writing Winds of Winter. I'm getting pretty anxious about this. What if they don't like it? Someone needs to just say, "But George, think about the plates of food you can describe."
Yeah, you could be writing about
George,
so much breakfast.
George dives into the fucking chair and he's hitting the keys at a speed you wouldn't believe. Like you're hearing the rapid fire like noise. He's using a computer, but nonetheless, it's making the noises of a fucking
Of a typewriter carriage,
typewriter.
right, being returned.
You're
Yeah,
hearing like
ding,
ching.
ding.
Yeah, he shoots out 3 books. They're all amazing.
Well,
We
they're amazing cookbooks, at least.
Well, like no, it's like almost like a deal. Like yeah, it's a trade off. We have to accept that a quarter of the book is going to be cooking, and the other 75% is going to be fucking awesome. We just gotta
Yeah.
put up with the quarter of the book that's food.
Yeah, because he's going to be on a roll. We just have to accept that he's going to be mostly on a roll, no pun intended, about food, about the stuff that he
So
loves the most.
someone looks over his shoulder and sees like the 8th page in a row about food, and they're about to stop him, but like someone else sticks their arm in and like holds him back. Like no, 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 no. Let it be.
That is a funny thought. That's a very funny thought. Sad because it's realistic. But yeah, one of the oh, we have the Grim Reaper again. I wonder if it's the same guy. No, because he's got a gun. The other one
Yeah,
had
that
a
last
knife, right?
The last one was Crusader. This is Ichizo, but he's
Ah.
got a double barrel shotgun, which is amusingly much smaller than he is for some reason.
Oh yeah, it is. Wow, I can't even see it from one side.
That's
Yeah,
either a
it looks
large
out of
Reaper
scale.
or a small shotgun.
What does mine look like? Does mine look normal?
Perfectly normal, yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that the Red Wedding episode of Game of Thrones is a good example because in the book, it's you have a lot more time to sit and think and to process it and to kind of pause before you go on to the next chapter. It's so descriptive because it talks about, for example, although I like this detail, it said that when Catelyn Stark gets her throat cut, the person doing it like grabs her by the hair and you hear her, her inner monologue. She's like, for a second she's so stunned with what's going on. She thinks that she thinks, oh no, don't cut my hair. Ned loves it. Ned loves my red hair. Don't cut it. She's like out
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, because of what's going on. So just like that, for example, you can't convey the same same sense. You can't allow for little details like that. Similarly, you can't end in such a way that the audience can really sit and think about it and then move on. You have to make it dramatic. You have to make it something that's going to like leave that punch, and then as they did, cut to black and let that be the audience's time to think about stuff. You just have to. You can't convey the same concepts in a book the way you do in a movie. You can try and get as close as you can, but just by inherent nature of the differences in the medium, you can't make the same thing.
Yeah.
And Ted is obviously smart enough to know that, but I think that he too readily dismissed that in the case of Lord of the Rings. So on my second conversation, it wasn't even really a second conversation. The second time I ever really talked to him in any way about Lord of the Rings, I posted King Theoden's red day, a sword day, a red day, ere the sun rises, fourth Aerlingus, the big charge scene in Return of the King. I posted a clip of it for everyone to see because somebody made some kind of reference to it or whatever, and I thought, oh man, I'll post this. It fits perfect. And to my surprise, Ted's response was, "That is such a good speech." Like
Yeah.
there's no way not to be moved by that speech. I was like, oh wow, that's cool that he likes the speech at least. I wish he liked the rest of the movies. It sounds like at the very least
He's more or
mellowed
less
out.
changed his position to he does like the rest of the movies. He's still not happy about the exclusions. And I think he's still said like he's still not happy with Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn, which to be fair, they also changed a lot of
Really?
Aragorn's character there too.
Okay, that would be why. Okay.
Because Aragorn's character in the movies is very like, I don't know that I want to be king. Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility. I kind of just want to retire to the countryside with my hot elf wife. And Aragorn in the books is like, dude, I was born for this
It's my
shit.
time to be king.
I have spent the last 60 fucking years training myself on everything a king needs to be. I have been making sure I have the perfect resume for this shit. I have all the qualifications. And they changed that in the movie adaptation because, honestly, a big chunk of the audience is going to be Americans and who are iffy on the idea of royals in general, but also just in a old school mythology sense, that is absolutely a thing what a hero would say. In a modern day sense, we'd say, oh, you entitled fucking prick, who says you get to be king just because you're good at all the things a king needs to be good at?
I never looked at it that way. I wondered if maybe it was just as simple, and maybe I'm undermining the intelligence and the thought that went into it. I just kind of assumed that it was a matter of just it made it for a more dramatic character arc to make him have to grow into the idea of being a king.
I suppose there's like a little bit of an argument there because like it also, in doing so, kind of removes a bit of the tension around Denethor, right? Because Denethor obviously is antsy. Denethor and his family are a bit antsy around Aragorn because Aragorn should have their job. And there's tension in the books because Aragorn's like, I should have your job. He doesn't.
Okay,
I don't think he's ever so bold as to directly say it, but there's a little bit of implication, like, yeah, this. If Aragorn is actually the king, which by all indications he should be the king, he is the last of Isildur's line, then that means that you guys, your rule is invalid. But then the book changed the movie changed Denethor a lot too. It made him a lot more psychotic, whereas in the books, to my understanding, the Shining Denethor a little bit. In the books, it's supposed to be a slow decline, as the stress of being the steward during a siege and a really bad time in general makes Denethor slowly lose it. Whereas, of course, the movies, as soon as you see Denethor, he's fucking lost it. He's off his fucking rocker.
Yeah, there's no denying that. It's kind of funny actually that you mentioned that
Fucking
comparison.
gorily devouring that tomato while going, dance, Pippin, dance!
My little ugly creature.
Dance for me, hairy-feeted monkey.
Yeah, that's pretty much the attitude he's got. Yeah, so I find it interesting that I never really thought about the fact that I don't like at all Nicholson's portrayal of Jack Torrance. Jack Torrance.
Yeah.
But in that case, I was a little bit more familiar with the book, I guess, and so to me, it just like felt. I don't know. Plus, just as a film goer, I guess I just like the first time I saw The Shining, I hadn't read the book. It was when I was like 14 or something like that, and just like right off the bat, I was confused as to why I was ever supposed to like the guy.
Yeah.
Like as I'm watching the movie for the first time, I'm thinking like, wow, this guy's just an asshole.
Yeah,
like it ruined it for me that then he becomes bad. It's like he was always bad.
Yeah, it's one of those funny things of like, to me, like, it was actually kind of one of those details that bettered the movie when I had that classmate point out to me the symbolism implying that he was molesting his son. was, okay, so it's just that he has actually always been like this. He's always been the biggest piece of shit on the planet. It's just that the ghost finally got him to go like, all right, today's the day.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always a dirty bastard. It was just he was okay. To be fair, he was a loving family man who always became a dirty bastard when he drank, and the
In the
hotel
book,
got those. Yeah, right in the book. Yes, yes.
in the
In the book.
movie,
Yeah,
like I said, in the movie, like them adding that bit of symbolism saying that he molested the child changes so much. It's beyond just the breaking of the arm, which was a thing in the book too.
oh, that's right. It was. I forgot about that. You are correct.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I thought that was
You
the
thought that was the guy?
patriarch. Yeah. Oh,
I
good
guess
lord.
those guys are just kind of waiting. I kind of can't blame them. They're just like, ah, fuck it. I'm not going through the woods looking for that guy.
Dude, I bought pipe bombs and I went like, okay, this map is way too fucking big for me to be placing traps.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can
I mean,
come
you
at
have
us
to
from
put it
any
all
angle.
around.
Why would I
Yeah.
start? There's no choke points,
You'd have to put it around the entire camp or the entire parking lot.
which would be an amusing thought.
It is.
Who needed money?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for. I don't know. I'm waiting for him to slowly show up and just smack one of us flying away. That's gonna knock us out 100 feet off.
Yeah. Send
Just
one of us
bang.
directly off the map.
Yeah, he more or less does too. That's how we'll know that he's around.
Just punches somebody into the sun.
I mean, apparently it was a glitch, but I'm sure you've seen the clips at least of the giant in Skyrim.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah,
I saw there was a
the first time I
version that
played the
they
game, it was
patched.
very confusing.
I saw there was a version released of the game where they patched it out, and people went,
Yes.
"No!" So Bethesda
Yes.
so Bethesda undid that bug fix and made it. They brought the glitch back.
I did not know that part. I remember that somebody modded it, but I didn't know that they actually brought it back on their own. That's pretty great.
The fucking
mean,
giant, the
there we go.
Skyrim space program. That's what they call it.
I mean, yeah, like I said, the first time I played the game, you don't expect. I mean, granted, it's a big monster. You don't want to go over to because you think something's going to happen. But you're dealing with dragons, you're dealing with mammoths, you're dealing with all kinds of monsters. You don't think that the giant is going to be the one who royally fucks you up into space.
It's the fact. It's the fact that he does it with an overhead swing too, right?
Yeah, he smashes the ground with his club, and you can get a few feet away from it, and it won't even affect you. But if you're like close enough, yeah, you'll take the hit from above, but launch into space, just as you said.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like your character rebounds like a fucking basketball.
Pretty much.
Oh, well, I guess player 6, who just wandered off into the woods on his own, got himself killed.
Who was the player 6? I don't even. Who are we
He
missing?
was the default player model, I know that.
Oh.
The gas mask man in the soldier suit.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I'm wondering if the fucking guy got stuck or something.
Why, he's apparently been spending this entire time fucking the dude in the gas mask.
I guess so, yeah. If I can find out where that was, then we're on to something.
Dude, come
You
back to
know-
the camp. We haven't moved. You'll just get killed.
That's true. I don't know, the things that I do like about this map absolutely do not outweigh the fact that this is just way too big and empty.
Yeah.
Like this right here, this is actually kind of irritating.
This is one of those wonderful things
There he
where, like,
is.
when you're a kid, you're like, man, imagine imagine if a Call of Duty map that was just like the size of a full city. And then you play a game that gets close to it and you're like, wait, this sucks.
Yeah. It's happened.
The maps are
wow,
small
that
for...
was me. I love it.
Oh, would you kill
Sorry.
him?
I threw several grenades in a row, so unless somebody happened to blow them up at the same time, that was my grenades that made them just fucking explode.
So, here's the thing. I never saw him.
Oh, you're right by the burnt ground
Yeah.
where his body was. Yeah.
As I was coming around the van, I saw the chunk of, like, his arm with the minigun attached fall to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, everyone did just convene around him. So I don't want to take the whole credit, obviously, but it did seem as if the timing of when I threw my grenades, I think one of them did, in fact, land the killing blow of exploding him. So that was very satisfying.
I have all the perks up to level 2 now.
Oh, have you been switching around different weapons?
Yeah, I try to swap around. I try to enjoy all the different perks.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Not a bad idea. Although I would think that would get frustrating sometimes, switching to other weapons that you don't like as much.
I definitely like a couple weapons from each of the classes. The medic, more than anything, I like the ability to shoot the heal syringe at people.
Yeah, that is funny.
Oh,
Okay, now
shit, jump!
this.
Jump!
What's up?
Jump!
Jump. Oh wow, cool. This is gonna really fuck up the enemies that get blown up and knocked away, and get blasted away and go flying. This is gonna be
Oh,
fun.
look at them trying to jump at you! Look at them when they try to jump, it's great! The gravity also applies to them!
That's what I was hoping. Yeah, I was saying that when you shoot them or whatever and blow them up, they'll go flying. Or at least that's the hope. Yeah, it's good. I already like the design of the stage a lot. This is already my type of level. Not necessarily the aesthetic, although that's perfectly fine. It's nice too. But yeah, just this kind. There they go. This kind of layout where it's like somewhat tight, but it's not like tiny little corridors. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
There's a Star Wars Battlefront level that's a lot like this. It's,
There is. It's the one where there's a stretch that's just open moonscape, and you can go out in the vehicles and fight. And if you try to go out there on foot, 3 out of the 4 factions in that game die when they try that, right?
Oh, really? That happens?
The stormtroopers, the
Oh,
rebels,
you're
the
probably thinking of the
clones.
newer Battlefront, right? Are you thinking of the new Battlefront, like the
No, I'm
modern
thinking
one?
about the original Battlefront 2.
Oh, I don't remember this. Was it a space battle map?
No.
No, it couldn't have been a space battle map. I don't remember being able to leave the level and go out on the. Wait, no, continue describing it. Now it does kind of sound familiar the more I think about it.
Well, much of the map was indoors and looked like this, but there was an outdoor stretch where you could pilot, like, tanks and whatever, and go out on the moonscape with the craters and everything and go fight on that moon. The map was called, like, Moonbase 5 or something like that. It was a number ending, definitely. And, when you were out there, though, if you try to go out there on foot, if you try to go out onto the plain moonscape on... Dude, come back. Where did you... Oh, there you are. Dude.
Oh, it's one of these. I've been looking and looking and looking. Oh, this is not... Ah, that's funny. Plot against Captain Lewis. Huh!
And then he just punches him.
It's actually got the Mortal Kombat control layout.
Ooh. Insert coin. The top scores belong to Biggins.
Biggins.
Oh, no, money.
I completely missed. I thought you were bringing my attention to the trader because I was trying to find them and I just could not.
Holy shit, Earth looks beautiful in the distance.
I'm not on the right side. Oh, wow, it really does. Looks oddly detailed, actually.
Yeah. You can tell this must have been one of the maps they added last because like the textures are so highly detailed.
I noticed that as well. Yeah, it's very sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, relative to its time, yeah, it's actually really rather beautiful for a 2004 or however long ago, I suppose.
I looked into that. So.
Oh yeah.
This version of the game... Okay, so the game as a solo game... Okay. Killing Floor started as a mod for Unreal Tournament, I think.
Oh, I never knew that. I played Unreal back in the day.
And the mod was in 2004. They eventually got to the point where they decided to release it as a separate game, which was in 2009 that they finally released it as a game of its own.
Oh, shit. I would not have guessed that. Actually, yeah, okay. It feels about right.
And the development continued until 2014 when they moved on to Killing Floor 2, I think.
Oh.
2009, okay. I know, was definitely the date that that the game released as a separate game and not a mod. But I'm not for certain whether development finished in 2014 or perhaps a little bit later.
Gotcha. We'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
Maybe I hate to always refer to Wikipedia because I know for the longest time it's had a bad rap. It's just like, that's the loser's place to look stuff up. They're always wrong. It's like, and maybe that was that way back in the day, I guess. But now they're really good about fact checking and giving references and everything else. I mean, I wouldn't swear by it, but it's a really good source of information.
I could tell the tide was changing. I was in middle school and high school, and I was repeatedly told, actually, even near the end of high school, things started to change. But throughout middle school and much of high school, I was told, never use Wikipedia. We will not accept that. Ignore Wikipedia's existence. For your scholarly purposes, this is a non-website. And then when I got to late high school and much of college, it started to be a thing the professor would instead say, okay, now you probably heard all your life to ignore Wikipedia for scholastic purposes. I'll tell you now that is not true. You probably shouldn't cite Wikipedia, but what you do is you look at Wikipedia, you look for the information you want, and then you click the little number at the end of the sentence you want, and that'll take it to something you can cite.
Yeah, that's
Which
actually really
is
accurate. That makes sense.
Yes, that is completely valid, and that was valid even when I was being told that it wasn't.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, you
just that
with...
I guess teachers either smartened up or the old generation started to pass and the new generation started to come in. I don't know which happened.
Maybe a little bit of all of the above.
Probably.
Yeah, I remember one instance where this is the strangest thing too. I had the original Xbox, loved it, blah 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 blah. I wanted it specifically for Morrowind. I had never played Elder Scrolls. I'd never heard of Elder Scrolls until an issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly talked about this Morrowind game, and they described it like basically you can walk around, you can do anything you want, walk at your own pace, go fight at your own pace, learn stuff. They said you can steal anything that's not bolted down. If you see forks on a table, take them. And I thought, wow, that sounds cool. The level of freedom sounds amazing. So I wanted the Xbox for Morrowind, got it, really enjoyed it, but I noticed that the game crashed a lot, and that was really frustrating because when it worked, it was fucking great. And I eventually got online to talk to other people who played Morrowind, and they said, my game doesn't crash at all. My game runs perfectly smooth. And I can't remember how I found this out, but I eventually discovered, this is actually kind of fascinating to me. I discovered that the original Xbox was manufactured physically by 3 different companies. And depending on the depending on it looked the same. Like to the naked eye, it looked the same. However, by opening up the disk drive, the platter, the plate of where you would rest the disk on before putting it back into the console, was visually different, and knowing what difference there was would indicate which manufacturer made that particular Xbox. And so I found out, I still remember there was a Samsung disk drive in the Xbox, there was a Thomson disk drive in the Xbox, and then there was a third one I don't remember. If I recall correctly, the Samsung one was the good one because that one, for whatever reason, it was made more recently. It was made with higher components for whatever. We had
Holy
the worst
Jesus
one.
God!
What's that? What?
Looking,
oh, this?
Yeah.
I like that. That's apparently the shop.
Also, though, those are all just clones of the scientists that you can play as from the character select.
Oh, are they really?
They're all the same dude.
Oh, I think I can kind of tell.
It's a little bit of that Silent Hill 2 thing where all corpses are James, though that one wasn't an accident, that was intentional.
Yes. It looks cozy in there, minus the fire and the corpses.
That's true.
Yeah, I learned that we had the Thompson drive, which was the one that was apparently the most error prone. And I bring this all up because when I learned this, my girlfriend and I at the time, she was the one who bought me the Xbox. She was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. We went to Best Buy to buy a new Xbox, and I was the one who was willing to do this. She was too embarrassed. I said, I'll go to the shopkeeper or whatever, not the shopkeeper, the guy on the floor, the guy who, the associate who assisted us. I said, I'm interested in buying this, and this is going to be weird, I need to open the box and plug the thing in and open up the disk drive to be able to determine whether I'm going to buy it or not. And the guy was like, understandably, he was like, what are you talking about? What? And, he was not really, he seemed kind of dickish. He was like, well, that's kind of dumb. I don't want to have to do that. And I was like, no, here's the explanation, blah, blah, blah. What's up? Where are you?
Hang on. If you jump and then fire your shotgun, is that propelling you backwards through the air?
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I didn't notice that before.
I just saw another dude with a shotgun do that.
Ah, that's pretty awesome. I did. They put a lot of good detail into this one. That's cool.
Because my little Pithy SMG doesn't do that. It must just be a shotgun exclusive feature.
I'm guessing. Yeah, which makes sense because those things have a lot of power.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. To wrap up the story, which is probably not very interesting, but I'm almost done.
You and the guy on the floor had sex.
We did. I must have told you this before.
Yep. Good old-fashioned bad memory, brother.
Yeah, that gets me again.
Luckily for you, I have a perfect photographic memory.
You never get anything wrong. You never accidentally put in details that are not accurate to the story. It's never happened before.
I have never been known to just speak out of my ass whenever there's a detail I can't remember.
That's good. Yeah, I got the guy. He was kind of like very exasperated, very kind of eye rolling, just like this is dumb. This is just a customer asking something fucking dumb. He opened it, and it was like, okay, yeah, no, take note of this. You see, the platter looks like this. It's got like a circle in it that looks like this, and it's got like a little whatever. It's got like a second circle over here that looks like that. Okay, let me check another one, and I was able to check them based on the fact that when I looked this up online and found out what the models were, or I'm sorry, like what the different drives were, I was also able to learn that the various different drives had different manufacturing numbers. Like one digit would be different on the back of the box to indicate which model was which. And after looking at one and showing the guy that, okay, this is the one we don't want, can we open another one that's got this different number? He's like, oh, whatever, this is. But make it quick. This is bullshit. Sure enough, we opened up the one that had the different number, and as we expected, it had the different drive. And when the guy was going through the process of letting us open the box, and he was just like totally dismissing us, he's like, "Where do you even get this?" I mean, he was like really kind of rude. He was like, "Where are you? Why are you thinking they're going to be different or whatever?" And I'm like, "Well, I found this information out, and I followed it up and looked on Wikipedia." And he was like, "Oh, Wikipedia. You got your information from Wikipedia." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, all right. That's kind of one
I
of the
want
dumbest
out
things
of
you could
work, so I'm looking for any excuse.
do." That's totally the attitude he had.
Wikipedia. Oh.
Yeah, he just like he visibly was disappointed by who he was talking to.
You
The idea that someone would go to Wikipedia just like upset him. I mean, he
You
was
could
just
have the
like, "Oh,
CEO of
like
Thompson
seriously,
right
dude."
next to you with ID, and he'd have been like, yeah.
I do believe that, to be honest. I mean, it didn't make things better that it was Wikipedia, but yeah, he was not fucking having it. I mean, he was like, a sentence away from saying, "You are so fucking dumb." He just had that whole attitude. But yeah, I was like, "No, I'm serious, man. If you go to Wikipedia, you'll find this information out." And I corroborated it, and here it is. I can show you the evidence. Go look up yourself. I found out that correctly enough, these have different disk drives, and the different disk drives mean different performance. And finally, at the end of the story, after the guy was like, whatever, and he sold us our Xbox, we went home, and I never, ever had a problem with Morrowind ever again.
And that. Not only is that amazing for a funny story, that's also amazing because that never happened with a Bethesda game ever again.
Yeah. Sadly, I apparently didn't have other 360s or PS3s or whatever to switch from that would have worked with their completely bug-free games.
I gotta mention, I have a Bethesda game I adore, Fallout New Vegas. That game is buggy as fuck and crashes all the goddamn time.
Mm-hmm. I, as much as I love all the Elder Scrolls games, to a lesser extent with each subsequent entry, of course, as I've described, but I do still love them. I would be completely just lying through my teeth if I said, yeah, they always work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the best I can do is defend it by saying a game that complex is naturally going to have so many variables. It can't be a perfectly smooth machine all the time, but, I mean, it should be. Shrug. I mean, ideally, it should be.
In a perfect world, if we were living in utopia or heaven on earth. But if we're living on heaven and earth, I think you and I wouldn't be doing
crack
with no consequences. That's the definition of heaven on earth. It's exactly like regular earth, except that we just removed the health side effects of crack.
I'm sure to some people that's accurate.
Nothing else.
It amuses me. Why not? What were you gonna say?
I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna go straight for like a sexual answer. I was gonna say like I think you and me would both be busy doing more people around this time.
Oh, okay. If it was a perfect world, yeah. Yeah, if it were a perfect world, I'd want animals to never die. I would want my loved ones to never die, and I would like lots of money and good things and happiness and lots of sex. That sounds reasonable, I think.
And also for everyone to tell me I was right.
Yeah, I mean that helps. That's not a bad thing.
Not about anything in specific, just that.
Alex was right.
Damn straight.
I'm trying to think of the last time that I did get in a situation where I knew that I was right. I pushed really hard, and the other person was like, "No, you're wrong," and I wound up being right, and they had to say, "Well, yep, you called it." I know it's happened. It happens to everybody at some point or another. But
yeah, it's probably happened in this recording session.
It might have, honestly. We've talked about a lot of different things. Oh, weird. There's a. I don't know what the significance is. There's a. This looks like something out of Conan. There's an axe buried
Yeah,
in. You saw that?
yeah,
Wiz?
and
Did
if
you
you go
know
up and
the story
touch it, it
there?
tells you unlock an achievement in dwarfs to unlock this weapon, and it's like, what?
Oh, to unlock the dwarven axe. To unlock the. Wait, can I make it say that again? To unlock the dwarven axe, own dwarfs or complete the achievement. And then it says one more thing and it faded away. To complete the achievement, not a warhammer in dwarfs. That I don't. That's some fucked up English. I don't even understand what I read.
Well, I know that it's a reference. I've downloaded that game once, I think, just to get the axe unlocked in Killing Floor. It is actually a game named Dwarfs ? Or whatever.
Oh, that adds a whole lot more context. Okay, that made no sense without that knowledge.
Yeah. I need
It was
dwarfs?
just like, to unlock this axe in dwarfs? I'm like, what? Huh? What? What does that even mean? Why the
The
syntax?
sentence
Makes no
itself
sense.
doesn't know.
Right, that's how it felt. Oh god, don't blow me up. Okay, I made it. I went to throw a grenade upwards and beyond a gap in the ceiling, and it bounced off of an enemy and landed right next to me, and I thought I was fucked. I was not fucked.
I am now looking for this Zed gun. I don't know why.
Zed gun.
There's
What
collectibles all over the map for a, quote, a Zed gun. And
Oh,
I found a couple pieces. Now I feel dedicated to finding the rest alongside the other players.
I apparently haven't found anything like that. Like, how
They're little
did you know that there was?
canisters.
Oh, okay.
I clicked on
I
one on
probably-
accident, is how I found out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm assuming I might have seen something like that, but if so, I don't remember where it was or how many or anything like that.
Oh, the low gravity applies to the money.
Yeah, I was doing that earlier. I was actually jumping up and throwing the money against the wall because it went flying really high, or against the ceiling, I should say.
Okay. Where are the rest of the pieces? Probably walking in fucking circles here, looking in the same spots over and over. 2 pieces remaining. Okay. I'm close.
Oh, it's saying
That's
that to
also-
me too. I guess that's for everybody.
That's also what I'd be saying in heaven.
2 pieces remaining?
No. No. Yes.
Once again, we need some context for that one.
No. Before when it said 2 pieces, I said I'm close.
I'm close. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
If I see one, do you walk up to it or do you shoot it or?
You go up and press the button you'd press to open a door, which I think for you
Okay.
is... Well, I don't know what
It's
it is for
actually
you.
it's left bumper, which actually
Strange.
works. Yeah, it is strange, but it actually kind of feels natural once you've done it a couple times. The switching the weapon thing is actually the strangest. What happened? What?
I blew the screaming zombie's leg off, and her body started pinwheeling through the air backwards.
I saw a fat guy just jump in the air. One of the fat zombies. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or the fat specimens, I guess I should say.
Yeah. The fat gormless tosser.
Yeah, the gormless tosser. Gormless. And what exactly? I mean, I've heard it before. I'm not new to the phrase, but what do you think exactly a tosser is? Is that like someone who tosses balls or something?
No, I think toss in English slang means puke.
Oh, okay. That's kind of an odd insult. You throw up a lot.
Now there's only 1 piece remaining. I know we're gonna get cucked at the end. I know.
I know, right?
Damn it, she said, and you've nearly got them all. I want you close. I've said both of those things now. She's in agreement.
If I knew my way around this map, I'm just with all these maps pretty much.
I'm
kinda
just
going where the
wandering
action
around,
is.
brother.
Yeah.
There is one map in this game I know my way around.
Oh, which one's that?
West London.
Oh, yeah, we haven't been to that one yet. At least I haven't. Not any of the times we've been playing so far.
The veterans
sounds
may
like it'd be
avoid it
fun.
because it's the classic one.
It is the rust of Call of Duty. It is the, I think, dust of
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike, I think, yeah. When you found the pieces, were they in
Don't kill the
conspicuous
last
spots?
zombie.
Yeah, I'll try to avoid it if I can. I think the others might be doing the same thing.
It's not
Was
particularly conspicuous spots. Like, some of them are in the hands of dead scientists on the floor. Some of them are sitting on
Oh,
computer monitors.
okay. And it looks like just a little canister, just like a little, like
Yeah.
a thermos kind of thing. Okay.
Thermos with maybe some rings on either end.
Okay. The last zombie's on me. I will definitely do what I can to avoid him, or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kill him.
Yeah,
In
just,
fact, I'll have him following me just to make sure that the other guys don't kill him.
yeah. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Ichizo is on our side. He's running around. Yeah, he's looking. He's doing the same thing.
I know I must have passed over it, because I feel like I've been in every room on this map now.
The items don't glow or anything, do they?
Nope. Sadly, it does not.
Shit.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
It's difficult for me because I haven't even seen one yet, so I'm not sure what to look for.
Oh,
It feels
no.
like, oh, damn it.
Was it the fucking dude, the Tilda dude?
The Grim Reaper was by him last, but he looked like he wasn't trying to kill him. Like, when I saw him, he walked away and then jumped up and down, so I didn't get the impression he was trying to do it.
I'm not running back to the shop. I'm looking for this.
Okay. I mean,
It may kill me, but I want to know what happens, damn it.
I wonder if it'll unlock the gun for all of us, and if it's something we can keep. I'm assuming not, but it seems like a lot of work if not.
I think it is. I think I did before seeing the shop Zed gun, and it said, get all the pieces on the Moonbase map, or something like that.
Okay.
So I think it is something we all get to keep.
Fuck. Yeah, I am really trying hard to find it. I'm finding other things, and I'm like, oh, nah.
Yeah, I know.
And this is not the typical type of situation where you're in a maze and you just have to stick one wall and just follow it through and you'll find the way out. There's so many upper levels and lower levels and twists and turns. I don't know how you can follow in this map and not get lost.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah, I just
ignore
want
the
a
fucking
complete circle.
patriarch at this point. He's far away from me anyways.
How can you tell?
I recognize that room's on the upper level and I'm on the lower level.
Okay. I was just here. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to find it with you too. I'm also gonna resist if I can.
None of them are in, like, real tricksy locations either. None of them have been, like, hidden behind a computer.
I was gonna ask. Okay.
They've been in very plain locations, like I said, yeah!
I
We
don't know
unlocked
who
it!
did it. All right.
I guess Ichizo did. We
did it
unlocked...
say so?
Yeah, it said all Zed pieces have been found. The Zed gun has been unlocked at the trader.
Cool. Super cool.
Next game, I am definitely getting that. We worked that hard. I am definitely buying it.
I'll definitely give it a try. Don't know what. Do you know even what class of gun it is?
I want to say it's one of the few that's considered all classes.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there's the Patriarch. Hello.
Ah, okay. If you're by him, then so am I.
Well, as luck would have it, he's happened to run into the one class out of us who's least well built for combat. And yet, I was here as it died. And exploded into chunks.
I think we managed to cover him pretty well there.
Get it while you can.
Yeah, earlier I think it was something like, "What are you doing? I'm reloading," or some kind of nonsense like that. You gomeless toast.
Wankers.
Yeah. surprisingly, and
What the
this
fuck?
might. Oh yeah, what happened to me?
KF loading KF menu. Current map untitled.
Untitled.
What's happening?
That's a good question. Maybe this person with this server also has a custom map of some kind and it's not working properly.
I
If we're both
want to
getting
see
that
what
message-
happens if we load into the map.
Yeah, I'm going for it. Whatever happens, I guess we'll go ahead and find out.
Is it time to night rip?
I'm night ripping.
You're doing it.
My favorite still is Matt telling.
Oh!
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh! What?
Oh wow. There's actually stuff going on. I don't
Wait, is
like.
this
Someone
just...
appears to have done this on purpose. Maybe this is the whole. Maybe this is the map. Maybe it's just an open, like very lazily designed open. Whatever.
It was named menu. Did a bug happen?
Maybe that's a good guess. Yeah, maybe we're looking at the the menu template.
These are the images you see behind the options
Yes.
on the menu screen.
Yeah, you're right. I thought maybe just somebody designed just a very lazy level of just making a big round thing where nothing's happening, and zombies will eventually come out and we'll just fight in this big dumb lame square. But no, yeah, I think it's a glitch. I would think that zombies would still spawn, but apparently not, because they aren't.
Well, that's it. I'm killing myself.
I was gonna say, let's see who quits first. I guess that'd be you.
Oh no, I'm a medic. I have heal grenades. I can't kill myself.
Here, I was gonna say I'll kill you, but I guess we can't kill each other.
Yeah, I don't think there's friendly fire, at least on easy difficulty.
I'm lucky enough to be able to kill myself. I'm gonna walk right up here.
A
Yep.
kick vote has been placed against Alex.
I blew my good old self up. I heard someone else do it too. Yeah, everyone's. I don't know if you're still spectating, but everyone's given up. Well,
I
almost
see.
everyone.
I'm announcing that I can't kill myself with the heal grenade. He's also... The fire guy apparently has pyro incendiary grenades, which the
No.
And the pyro guy naturally doesn't take damage from fire, or practically no damage from fire, so he also can't kill himself.
You guys are stuck in eternal limbo. Imagine if you couldn't. I mean, obviously you could all tap out, but like how how bad it would be if you couldn't even like disconnect or get out of this in normal ways. That would suck.
Just stuck looking at Berserker Dick.
Yeah, it's a shame to have to bail, but I guess we don't have any other options.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was bizarre. I'd have to look that one up. I was sure that at first it was just somebody who just lazily designed just an empty just hallway and then
Yeah.
threw, an asset in there and just left it at that. Hair fight, but nope. I think you are correct.
I'm reminded of back in the day, the actor, one of the actors on an old Disney Channel show, Zack and Cody, he's a big fan of Warhammer Fantasy. So he said to him, "Hey, can I voice a character in Total War?" And they're like, "Sure." And while he was, doing the rounds saying, like, "I love Total War Warhammer, I love Warhammer Fantasy," I begged them to let me put me in the game. At one point, he brought up, I even tried to learn how to mod Warhammer 1, and I made a really bad map. And I guess gave the link to it or whatever. And it's still up on the Warhammer 1 Steam Workshop. You can go download the map. It is labeled Big Pile of Poo. And it is, in fact, just a big dirt mound. And that's it.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, it's awful, but that's awesome.
Well, it's great because, like, we've all at some point opened up, like, some kind of dev tool like that, dicked around and made something really bad and just gave it a shitty name. He just published it, though. And, like, he's a celebrity, too. A mild celebrity, a small celebrity. Not nearly as relevant now as he was even 20 years ago, but...
Well, that reminds me of Topher Grace, who granted, I never really watched that 70s show, just not my thing at all. I love Kurtwood Smith. I mean, he tore it up in RoboCop, which one day, when I find an official store-bought copy, copy to lend to you. I guess maybe then you'll see it.
Yeah,
But beyond that, yeah, it was like,
I
wow,
just need to find the right streaming service on that one.
I don't know if it'd be streamable or not. I guess they seem like they always have weird choices. Like good movies will be taken off, and then bad movies will be put on. Seems like it's kind of scattershot as to what you're gonna get, from what I can tell.
Well, the best movie streaming service is HBO, but as a general rule, I don't watch the streaming services too much around here, and I don't buy any. Though I should start buying some at some point, but it's mostly like my mom or my sister that picks the streaming services we go with, and they naturally go for what streaming services off the TV shows they're looking for, like Law and Order, which I don't care for.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm sure HBO has RoboCop, because HBO has, like, every fucking movie anybody would want to watch.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was basically just Netflix and whatever else the alternative is, I guess, like Disney Plus, that kind of shit.
Yeah, shit. Well, yeah, there was Disney Plus for all Disney's own stuff, and for Marvel and Star Wars. HBO handles a lot of things on top of their own stuff. Netflix, sadly, has been largely overrun by their own content, so it's mostly, like they made a deal with Adam Sandler, make a dozen movies for us, and now
I heard about that.
Yeah, and now Netflix is like full of shitty Adam Sandler movies, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, fucking amazing, kill me.
That's about what I heard. Yeah, it's a shame that they went through with that.
And like, so HBO is really the one that's just good for movies now, especially since Netflix has largely given up the title.
Oh, look who joined.
Yep, not many
He's
choices
back.
for the easy difficulty, huh?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know who has the rights to RoboCop now, because it was Orion who produced it, distributed it, whatever.
Do they still exist?
No, I was gonna say they're bankrupt a lot, unless they made a comeback, like different owners or whatever. But no, they went bankrupt like years and years ago.
Yeah, I was.
Honestly, oh no, sorry, go ahead.
I want to say that I could remember seeing their logo recently at some point, but it could be like one
I feel that way too.
Like, I almost feel like there was some movie that came out recently that nonetheless tried to go retro, and so used the old Orion logo and then maybe turned it into something else. I don't remember.
That could be what happened, because I also feel that I've seen it recently beyond just like seeing it in older movies, like for example RoboCop. I feel as if I have actually seen it in a new film. Yeah. What I was gonna say is that the comedy UHF by Weird Al Yankovic, which was pretty good actually. I don't know if it still hold up now, like to other people who haven't seen it, but I always liked it.
Is it the one where he just throws? I get it mixed up with Hot Shots is the issue. Which one was it where he catches a bullet with his mouth and then spits it back at somebody, killing them?
That's UHF.
Okay, so then Hot Shots is the one where he just sticks his hand into a box of ammo and throws bullets at people and it kills them.
It must be, because I know for sure that's not in UHF, and I have not seen Hot Shots, so I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in UHF, the thing is, he's doing a parody of a Rambo. At that time, Rambo 3 was like brand new to the box office, doing some good money, and he did a Rambo parody. And at one point, yeah, a guy shoots a bullet at him. He turns as if his head has gotten shot, but then he turns back to reveal that no, he caught the bullet in his mouth. And then the guy who shot at him is like, "Oh no, this is bad." He doesn't say anything. He just looks terrified, and rightfully so. As Weird Al then spits the bullet back at him in the form of like rapid fire gunfire, which makes no sense. But that's the point. Yeah, it's a stupid, funny movie. It's like the whole concept of the movie is that Weird Al, his character, inherits a defunct UHF radio station where it's got a bad time slot, no one watches it, and so he can put on pretty much whatever he wants. And he eventually starts putting on programming that people like, and the plot starts getting complicated from there. He's got like a rival rival broadcaster who wants to take him down, so on and so forth. And because of the format, this cheap I keep wanting to say radio. This cheap television station, he can put on pretty much anything he wants, and a lot of it is like satirical, parody, funny stuff. It's Weird Al type of humor. Yeah.
I know that I've seen a clip of the clip of the show where Macho Man appears, Elbow drops his hamster, and then his hamster beats Macho Man up.
I've never seen that particular clip, and now I have to. But yeah, the show, I think it was just like the Weird Al show. It was on MTV, and a running gag was that something horrible would always happen to Harvey the hamster. Yeah.
Yeah.
In one of them, he like had Harvey like play. He had like one of those bingo rollers, like a bingo cage. You know, like you put. I'm sorry, not bingo. It was a. You put ping pong balls in like a rolling cage and you turn it with a crank,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
roll around. Yeah, yeah. At one point, I think he put Harvey in one of those. He was like, "Pick a ball, Harvey," and he just like went run, 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 and he just like spun it really fast, just
Yeah.
killing, obviously, like just torturing the poor creature who thankfully was not a real hamster, but it was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, the clip I saw was like he was feeling really depressed about something, and he was just really down. And then Macho Man kicks the wall in, walks through, and it's actually Randy Savage. It's not an
Good.
imitator, it's actually Randy Savage. And he goes, "Ooh, I know just the thing to get your mood up, Weird Al. It's a wrestling match. Yeah." And they start squaring off, and Weird Al's like, "Yeah, a wrestling match. That's exactly what will bring my mood up. And it's time for a real throwdown between you and Harvey, the hamster." And Harvey suddenly appears on a wrestling mat.
I don't know why I find that delightful, but I do.
And Macho Man again starts like squaring off with the hamster. And then he raises the elbow and does a big dramatic elbow drop onto a hamster prop, which I assume was the same hamster prop they put in the bingo cage. It then cuts to an extreme close-up of Weird Al as Weird Al's expressions are going, and like we hear in the background noises of beatings, wham, boom, and Weird Al's going, ooh, ah, sympathy faces, right?
You're right. You're right.
And Weird Al starts going, oh, the humanity, somebody's got to stop, that's enough, that's enough. And he reaches over, and the camera cuts back to the mat to show that the hamster is now pinning Macho Man.
They're just like a real hamster sitting on top of him.
They put the actual Harvey hamster on top of Macho Man's chest as Macho Man is laying on his back and like begging for mercy, like, no more, I can't take it. And to really add to it, Macho Man's there in his NWO gear.
Oh, it was that. I would never have expected it to be that late. I thought we were talking like 1992 or something like that.
No, this must have been like 97.
Apparently. Yeah, I would not have guessed that it would come that late. I didn't even realize that I was still doing stuff like that at that point.
Oh, I'll have to send you the clip later. It's great.
Like the way you describe it, I feel as if I've seen it before. Like I can visualize what I can imagine to be Randy doing a bionic elbow on like this big, dumb, fluffy, like completely, immobile.
It's actually tiny. It's the additional bit of comedy. Like, you have to actually even really pay close attention to notice there's a hamster prop at all.
Then maybe I am thinking again that I didn't see it because like I feel as if I hadn't, but then I keep visualizing the Macho Man like landing on what is essentially like a toupee, a toupee rather, and then like just this big fluffy rag looking thing, just to make it obvious to viewers that it is a prop. But no, the way you describe it, it doesn't sound like I've seen it before. I need to see it regardless, even if I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I have to have that clip permanently stored for sure.
Playing on loop in a monitor on your house. I remember Team Fortress 2, they hyped up, they're releasing a poster that was a signature shot from one of their trailers. They were releasing a poster. You could get it and you could put it on your wall. And to advertise it, they said, now we know what you people have been doing. Up until now, you've bought a separate TV, put it on your wall, had it playing and left it playing the video and paused on this particular screen. Well, you don't need to do that any longer. We found a new way. We're releasing a poster of this shot. Just like 100% The Simpsons. Up until now, this was the only way of getting orange juice.
Oh, I feel like I know that. Which one is that from? Do you recall?
It was Troy McClure squishing the orange
on
his fucking eye.
That's right.
And it cuts to Homer doing it in front of the TV, and he goes, you mean there's another way? Like, that's one of those Simpsons gags where there isn't really an intelligent point to the bit. It's honestly just raising the question, how stupid can we make Homer?
That's actually one of the things that a lot of fans turned against. They didn't like initially that Homer seemed extra mean-spirited. That's the jerk-ass Homer. Yeah, around the same time, it might even be considered part of the same trope. I'm not sure, but I started hearing the stupidity of Homer was bothering a lot of audience members. They thought that it was just like so unrealistic that he went like literally like brain damage, like severe brain damage. I was fine with what they described, but a lot of people weren't.
I think that the good seasons of Simpsons were still guilty of having Homer wildly vary in terms of intelligence from episode to episode.
Yeah, I think that's a fair observation. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
on the Tracy Ullman shorts, he started as just a well-meaning but kind of dopey, grouchy dad, but he did get pretty dumb pretty fast.
I mean, the first season, he's still largely Tracy Ullman Homer.
Yeah, more or less. I'm trying to
Remember, one of the first episodes of season 1 is Homer is embarrassed by how weird his family is and takes them all to a family therapist to try and get them to be less weird.
Yeah, yep. That was a classic clip back in the day. That was really the one where they're shocking each other. That was good stuff back then.
And, like, that's, of course, crazy, because, like, if any of the characters would do that in any of the good season Simpsons, that would have been Marge, probably, that was like, you guys are too weird, we need to deal with this. But even then, Marge was never that judgmental.
I have my problem with Marge on some episodes, like the one where she went on a retreat with Homer, the one where Homer wants to catch the giant catfish. Marge is really kind of a nag in that when she's going on about how Homer is inattentive and he's too slovenly and blah blah blah, and it's just
All of which are accurate.
yeah, they were accurate. Yeah, the episode clearly painted her to be the good guy, but she was saying stuff that seemed just really like well, the guy seemed to always be this way. Why'd you marry him then? And this was literally like I think the very next episode after she almost had an affair. So
Yeah,
it's just kind of like that kind of stuff kind of soured me on Marge. But generally speaking,
there was a string of episodes where it's like they both consider cheating on each other or divorcing each other. And it's like, are we just going to keep going back to this trope? Or are we just trying? At this point, are we just doing this to piss off Bush Senior? Or
yeah, I don't even remember what they had a beef with Simpsons. Just the general, I guess, lack.
I don't remember if there was a necessarily specific beef. Oh, do I still? Am I still?
Figures.
Oh shit!
Oh,
I got.
Did you get kicked?
No, I got a big lag spike both on Discord and in the game.
I see. Is it normal now?
Yeah, it's good now. But like,
Okay.
I don't remember there being like necessarily a specific issue. It just became like a talking point for Bush Senior in speeches, didn't it? Like you'd say,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was just a quick
I
throwaway
wanna-
line. You're right.
"I want America to go back from the Simpsons to the Waltons."
Right.
We're just like the Waltons, Mr. Bush. We're waiting for the Great Depression to end.
Yep. That was very pointed. Although I didn't like that they signed it to Bart though. Every now and then they give Bart a lines that it's like that he's supposed to be like 8, no 10. I guess he's supposed to be 10. 10-year-old kid would never know what the hell that even means.
Well, Lisa raises the same question where, like, she very quickly became blatantly Matt Groening's villain. Like, she is blatantly Matt Groening's, what do they call it? They'll sometimes call it author avatar.
Audience surrogate. Surrogate, rather. I'm sorry.
Well, in this case, I mean a writer surrogate.
Oh, you mean directly? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think it would be Avatar, wouldn't it?
Avatar, sure. Yeah, writer avatar, whatever. So much slow-mo.
Yeah, that was super slow.
In fairness, I was definitely responsible for part of that. I got several headshots.
I thought that it, well, I guess it stacks then. I didn't know that it did. But yeah, it's happened a few times lately. I couldn't tell what was going on.
You can definitely get, I think that, I want to say everyone can get extended slow-mo with headshots, but the Berserker and I think the Sharpshooter have a higher chance to, or something like that. I could be
wrong. Let's see. Oh, so many bodies. They're all getting killed before I can get in there.
Yeah.
I wanted to blow up a bunch of them, but I failed. That's one thing that I kind of don't like about having multiple people in this. I want to have all the good gory, good juicy kills for ourselves.
Yeah.
Although I did just miss like 6 shots in a row, so I can't really.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. It's like, well, I had a chance there, and I kind of blew them all. Yeah, there was one episode that just really, really bugged me when Bart said something he would never, ever have said. It was like a season, it was during the good days, I think. It was like season, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, somewhere around there. And, I don't remember the setup. I feel as if I should. I'm sure if you happen to mention it, if you remember it, I'll know it. But Bart he goes into a bank where everyone's, wanting to take out their money, and Bart goes in there and he kind of like, he throws his voice, like he runs in and says things, but in sort of like a hushed way, sort of off the side of his mouth to make it look as if he's not the one saying it. People won't notice. They'll hear the disembodied voice, but they won't see Bart saying it. He runs in and he says something like, yeah, your money's all, whatever, at Bill's house or whatever. And then he runs over to somebody else and tries to trick them by saying, insolvent. It's like, Bart would. There's
No,
no fucking way. No 10-year-old
it
child would have ever even
100% is
heard the word insolvent.
intelligence fit to the gag.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, because of course what happens is what Bart wanted, which is that hearing this disembodied voice saying these worrisome things, all the people in the bank started fighting, and Bart's like, haha, mission accomplished. But yeah, it's just always rubbed me the wrong way. It was such an
Yeah.
immersion breaker. I mean, it's a stupid thing to be upset. Like, I wasn't upset about it, but it bugged me. I thought that was, I don't know. It just didn't seem like their typical type of thing to do.
Yeah, like I think I've said this before. To me, part of what's great about the "oh, $1, I want a peanut" gag is, to me, it does a good job of explaining why Homer's so fucking stupid sometimes and relatively reasonable other times. The
Because
other
that,
characters,
he has that.
yeah, because he has to remind himself to think. You know, if he reminds himself to think, he's fine.
Yeah.
But he just usually doesn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he usually just doesn't happen to remember to think.
Yeah.
So he just goes on autopilot.
Which, honestly, is accurate to many people in real life. Including me several times.
Everyone does it. I've been saying so many wrong things tonight without thinking, because I can't even really necessarily blame it on paying too much attention to the game, because the game is really kind of, this isn't a crack against the game, but the game is really kind of, relatively speaking, brain dead. But
well, we're playing the difficulty we're playing on. Oh God!
Oh, where are you?
I got it. I was caught with the wrong gun in my hands.
Oh, I see.
I happened to walk over a lever action rifle, and my character was like, "Ooh, a lever action rifle!" And I was, no, I'm trying to buy a crowd. This is a bad situation to have a gun with high accuracy damage but low shots per second.
Yeah, it's like being surrounded by a crowd and you've only got a sniper rifle.
Yeah. And the rifle is very good in this game for dealing with the berserkers and such. Less great for dealing with lots of tiny little boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely imagine so.
We're not even close to the trader, and this guy's just puking money at random.
Saw that. That's at least the second or third time I've seen him do it too. I'm wondering though if some of that slowdown is the result of a special technique or a special weapon or something, because it's happening very consistently now, and it's really kind of annoying. It's going like 4 times as long.
There's definitely one of the classes can get upgrades related to the slow-mo.
It's getting to be a little too long. I think it's a little obnoxious at this point. I'm still having fun. It's not an issue. It's just whoever keeps doing it's kind of getting on my nerves.
Ow.
What happened? Oh, did you fall?
Yeah.
I don't see the. Oh, we're looking for the last guy still. I was looking for the path.
Holy shit, we are so far away from the trader.
Oh, that's not good. Hopefully we'll find the guy in the meantime.
Well,
okay,
there goes the last one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, see, that slow-mo was fine.
Time to go shopping.
Yeah, she said, shop's open, boys, come get me, which now that there's like 3 or 4 people in this match, that's actually really kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it's weird that it's boys plural. I thought before, like, my God, could you imagine if she just cut the subtlety and she eventually, eventually you get to, the trader is open, notification appears on screen, she just shouts in our ears, sex!
I was actually thinking even more explicitly, I want all your dicks!
At the same time!
Fill all my holes, I'm waiting.
The camera is running!
Did you ever see Clerks? I'm assuming you have. Everyone has.
We have done this bit several times. No.
We have? God, my memory's awful. Yeah, in Clerks, I remember when Randall is talking to Dante about, actually, no, he's the gag is he's behind the counter at the video store, and he's calling his distributor to ask to ask for some new titles to be delivered to the store. And as a little girl and her mom are sitting there in front of the counter waiting to be serviced, he rattles off to the distributor on the phone all these just horrifically graphic porn movies. And
Yeah.
it's like, girl who craves cock, girl who craves cunt, and then it just keeps going and going and going. And the one that always got me was all holes filled with hard cock. Which, to
It's
be
the fact
fair,
that they're stated almost clinically.
yeah, he did. Actually, he literally did. He was just like, okay, and then there's this one, and then this one, and make sure you send this one. Yeah.
We've run out
KY2,
of,
or no.
we've run out
Yeah,
of
go ahead.
copies of Big Titty Bitches.
Yeah, essentially that exact thing, yes. And funnily enough, though, at the time I wouldn't have believed this. That is very accurate to the kind of titles that porn movies often have.
I remember at one point when I remember I grew up having the backyard wrestling games as one of the games we had on PS2, as shitty as those are. And I remember watching
The footage I've seen on the Best Friends make them look really good, actually.
Oh,
They
they're
look super
stupid.
entertaining.
They're willfully stupid if that's what you're looking for, by all means.
They look like a lot of fun, though. They actually look like quality games.
But nonetheless, I remember watching the Best Friends play at least the main menu screen, and it starts up, of course, when they're recording it. It just so happens that it's playing a little FMV of Tara Patrick. She's all sexy. And Matt just shouts out, "Oh yeah, I hope this has all my girls." And I remember getting mixed up for a second. I think I actually did look up, like, wait, who is that? Because no, it was actually way different. When I was a kid, I looked up Backyard Wrestling, the roster, because I wanted to know where the hell they came from. And for her, I was like, Backyard Cum Sluts. And as a kid, I was like, I don't know what that means. That's strange, though. That's a very strange cover, too.
Is that actually a true story? This actually really happened?
Well, I don't know if it was called Backyard Cum Sluts. I imagine that would have been explicit enough that even I would have probably looked up what cum was and then been scarred forever. But
yeah,
it was definitely like Bikini Babes Gone Wild or something like that. And I remember going like,
right.
This seems suspect. What is this woman about? She seems to not fit into the ethical caliber of the likes of Sandman and New Jack.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't say who was higher or lower on that ethical caliber.
Right.
The funny thing is, I guarantee you anything that she's done, they have also done. They just did it off camera.
I would assume so. Yeah.
When they are on camera, they get a different kind of blood. A different kind of penetration.
Oh, no.
You know New Jack has done that.
Yeah. Well, New Jack's done pretty much everything, including die.
Well, we all have to hit that point on our checklist at some point. Oh, I gotta mention, hey, he's also hit that point on his checklist. Good work, Tilda.
I wonder if that was on purpose. That seemed very sudden.
Oh, there's a patriarch. Okay, so
yeah.
But I was watching another movie. We watched two movies. Crusader
what the hell?
Crusader joined the game, died.
I didn't catch the first part. That's funny. I thought this was a guy that's been with us for a while, and he just happened to meet the same fate. Nope. Someone just joined and died.
No, Crusader is the guy that last night blew himself up.
Oh, that was the same guy. That's right. Yeah.
Huh. That's great. I hope he blew himself up again.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he's doing another bit, and we just didn't happen to be lucky enough to see it this time.
But I was also watching, I don't know if you've heard about this. It was one of the movies that was getting a lot of praise near the end of 2023. We got to watch The Holdovers.
I've heard the title. I haven't seen it. I feel as if I probably know what it's about, but
it's a very good, subtle, kind of old-style Christmas movie, comedy drama. More so on the drama side. Paul Giamatti plays a cranky, older 1970s history professor.
Okay.
And he gets shafted because of a variety of things. He gets shafted with a job. He's at a Catholic private school that is a boarding school, so all the students have to live there. And there are the holdover students who the parents call in for Christmas break and say, hey, we're going to be busy over Christmas break. The kid can't come home. You guys have to keep them at the boarding school. Those are the holdovers.
I see.
and the cranky older history teacher played by Paul Giamatti is the one that's shafted with the role of like, okay, all the other teachers get to go home for Christmas break. You have to stay at the academy and take care of the holdover kids.
Okay.
And there's a bit more going on than that. There's also one of the cooks is also put in charge of the holdovers. And it's a kind of sad, but also very joyful in some ways. Made by the same guy who made Sideways, if you've ever seen that.
I haven't, but I heard it was really good, and I believe, if I'm thinking of the right movie based on your description, I think The
It also featured
Holdover
Paul
is
Giamatti.
also. Yeah, it does, and I think that he's been, I think, nominated for Best Actor for both films.
Yes.
Is The
Yes.
Holdover really new, like within the last year? 'Cause
Yes.
if so, yeah, he's
Within
okay.
probably
then
the
yeah.
last 2 months. It was a Christmas movie for 2023, so last 2 months.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I'm almost totally sure that he was nominated for Best Actor for it.
Yeah, and for good reason. It's a very good performance, an excellent
He's
performance.
always good. Yeah, I haven't seen him in anything that I've disliked.
I love Paul
Or,
Giamatti.
Yeah, he's really good. What happened? I'm missing all the action.
Not only did was this Ichizo guy going up and beating on the patriarch, he was also, while beating on him, throwing money at him.
I never saw that before.
That's just insulting.
It is. Yeah, here, take some money while you're at it, fucker. How you like that, bitch?
Loads of money. But yeah, there was a line at one point. One of the characters, not Paul Giamatti, a different character, says that I really liked. He gives a woman a gift, and the woman says, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." And the guy replies, "The only things I have to do are pay taxes and die. I wanted to give you that gift."
They always say that too, death and taxes. It's I guess you really can't avoid either one.
Well, if you're in the government, maybe.
Well, yeah, true.
Now, I leave it ambiguous whether that means you can avoid taxes or death.
The answer is yes.
I didn't even know what happened there. I just saw the patriarch go flying, and then they cut back.
Yeah, dude here whose name is not. Oh yeah, it's just whatever. It's
Tilde.
Yeah, Tilde. I think I kept on wanting to say Ambersands. Yeah, Tilde over here. He was blasting away at him pretty good. I actually threw a grenade just before he died, but he killed him before it landed.
Okay, it's now 3:30 in the morning. I should probably wrap it up over here.
Okay.
I just looked at the clock and went, "Oh shit!"
That's fine. It's been a lot of fun though. I think we have our new party game here.
Oh yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it absolutely has. I mean, obviously, I'm not ready to give up Phasmo anytime soon, but this is a welcome alternative. This has been I've thoroughly been enjoying this game.
It's nice having a big arsenal to go back to.
You know, funnily enough, I've only been. Oh, you mean games, game-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you meant for a second in-game. I thought you were saying one of the reasons why the game is good is because you have a big arsenal. I was going to say, well, you're not wrong, but I've only been using the 1 or 2 guns, so I can't really identify with that. But sure.
Yeah.
But yes, it is good to have a bunch of games in our arsenal that all of us have, and this is just so easy to pick up and play. It's like I said, it's not a slam to say this, just dumb fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I'm all over it. But I guess I will also quit because it's just not as fun playing by yourself or with randos. So I will leave my killing floor to the next time that we all play. We'll have to get Pink and anybody in this with us, I guess.
Yeah.